How can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Blitz that holiday debt and get $1,000 in your hand.
I just won $1,000.
Listen every hour from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays for your chance to win $1,000. Happening now.
Gold is near record highs, and Allen's pays the most for your gold jewelry, coins, diamonds, designer watches, and more. Take advantage of the high gold market price and get the cash you deserve today. Allen's Jewelry and Pawn, Patton Avenue, Tunnel Road, and in Cherokee.
Are you 55 or older and haven't had a colonoscopy? Join a colon cancer screening study and you could earn up to $575.
I'll screen.
It's a study for a non-invasive way to screen for colon cancer from home. By joining, you can help advance the science of screening.
I'll screen too.
You'll just need to provide a stool sample, and a colonoscopy will be done through your own insurance. Enroll now and screen to help create a better future for all.
I'll screen.
I'll screen.
Let's all screen for colon cancer.
Visit screeningstudy.com to sign up or learn more. That's screeningstudy.com.
Breathe easier in your home in 2022 with Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning. It's the only company to trust to get your home insanely clean. Right now, when you mention ESPN Asheville, you can get $30 off your next air duct cleaning plus 15% off filters and purifiers. Schedule online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Call today. 333-9517.
Hey guys, there is some important news that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound familiar? If you are one of the millions of men with prostate problems that are driving you nuts, there is some great news. Prosthogenics is the all-natural product that beat over 157 other prostate supplements in lab tests and was rated the #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. #1, because it works. So why not try some Prosthogenics, and your prostate troubles will be a thing of the past. You'll get a great night's sleep and stop waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. To get your free bottle of Prosthogenics, call now 800-600-2020. That's 1-800-600-2020. Take advantage of our 90-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-600-2020. Do it now.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Steve Lisi developing story, another step forward for Titans running back Derrick Henry ahead of Saturday's AFC divisional playoff game versus the Bengals. He responded well to the contact in practice. Key in his comeback from that fractured foot. A decision whether he plays likely will be made on Friday. The concerns remain for the Buccaneers when it comes to their offensive line. All-Pro right tackle Tristan Wirfs and center Ryan Jensen both dealing with ankle sprains. Likely will go down to the wire before decisions made if they play in the NFC divisional playoff game against the Rams on Sunday. The O-line injuries changed the playbook drastically for Tampa, points out ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
You have to get the ball out quickly, obviously. A guy like Leonard Fournette would be helpful for that if he's healthy and he's back. But a guy like AB would have been great for that. A guy like Godwin would have been great for that. Mm-hmm. Mike Evans isn't particularly built for that. He's a big, rangy guy who can get a head of steam going if you give him some room, but he's a downfield type of receiver.
Dominique Foxworth on Get Up. The NFL fined Bucs coach Bruce Arians $50,000 for swiping his hand at Tampa safety Andrew Adams' helmet during the win over the Eagles.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different.
And welcome in to the Ingles studio, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are the Sportsocracy, and first hour of the program always brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. We got a lot going on. It's a big day for the Raiders franchise. Huge day.
It is that.
Huge day. It's 20th anniversary of the Tuck Rule.
That's not really what I was talking about. It's also the happiest I've ever been to be wrong in my entire life. How about them Seminoles? Let's go, baby!
Bets $100 against his own team yesterday.
That's an old gambler's trick if I've ever seen one. Hey, here's the thing. It's going to go one of two ways. You'll either be happy or you'll be sad. But you'll be sad with more money than you had before. And I almost boo-boo kitted that real bad because they really tried to not only not cover, but lose as well.
And the Duke Blue Devils fall to Florida State.
I will say, something I never knew I wanted was the last time Mike Krzyzewski stepped into the Tucker Center for him to walk away. A loser!
Oh.
I did not know I wanted that. And now it's made me very happy. In a way that I didn't know that it would.
It just didn't register with you before the game.
No, because I thought we were dead and buried.
Right.
I thought Florida State was not a very good basketball team.
Hey.
And here's the thing. When you play them at home, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they have been for a long time.
And guess what? Don't mess with them Arden boys.
Oh, Caleb Mills was
tremendous. Incredible. He was incredible last night.
Greatest stat I think I've ever heard. Florida State has won 13 overtime games in a row.
Wow.
That is borderline unbelievable to think about.
I mean, that has been a hallmark of the Leonard Hamilton game, though. I mean, because he builds these teams that are so long and tough defensively, that it's going to give you an advantage when you get into those extra frames.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, this team is not built long and good defensively. They are built infuriating, and they're taking weeks off my life every time they play. No. But they won. And they covered. That's a double win for me.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact I took Duke.
Look,
so I hope you didn't follow me there. But
don't want to hear anything. Don't want to hear anything. All right. Did you see what happened to the Tar Heels last night?
That Miami team, they're sneaky good.
Yeah, they are. But the Tar Heels are not good.
Their good is really good.
Good.
They are the Mike Vrabel of college basketball teams. Their good is so good. Their bad is shoo buddy.
I envision a tough conversation coming up tomorrow in Tar Heel Time with Jones Angel right here at 4 o'clock on ESPN Asheville, because that 30-point it wasn't 30 points. It was 28.
It could have been 58.
It very well could have. Miami got up to a 27-point lead at the half.
I think Miami was pulling people out of the crowd by the 5-minute mark. Like, hey, you're above 5'7". Why don't you come throw on a jersey? Let's do something. Let's do some stuff.
And Caleb Love needs to learn how to run a team.
Yeah,
seriously.
That team is infuriating.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the NFL, because there's a big meeting happening with the Las Vegas Raiders. Mark Davis sitting down with Rich Bisaccia to try to figure out, is he going to be the future head coach? Is he going to, stay on for the next administration? What is going to happen? What should they do? Also in the program today, we'll talk about the playoffs. There's this interesting article today that Tennessee is apparently statistically, analytically speaking, the worst number one seed we've seen in like 40 years. And I don't know that it really matters all that much. We'll talk about that. And yeah, we're going to talk about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys after Stephen Jones has given his his vote of confidence, I guess, for the head coach, Mike McCarthy. What's the best for Dallas? What's the best for Dak? We'll talk about that in the second hour. So this big meeting today with the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, I feel like Rich Bisaccia should be a part of the future of this team. I just don't know that he should be the head coach.
Well, when we came up with this topic this morning, I felt very sure that I was going to say Rich Bisaccia should be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
And then I did some digging. And in my digging, I discovered that this never works ever, 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 ever. The one time it has ever worked, you kind of say Don Coryell, but he had already coached the team once. So that doesn't really
count. All right.
Marv Levy was promoted by the Bills, ended terribly, and then wound up in 4 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it has been a graveyard of shoe-buddy bad coaches.
Now, is it just that's the only time that it led to Super Bowl appearances, or is it just bad all the time?
Well, I did some digging.
Okay.
Because I wanted everybody else in Raider Nation, which, I'm proud to say that I was a 2021 member of, to have all of the information before they make their decision. So I looked at the last 10 coaches that were elevated to the full-time job after being the interim. Raiders fans, you might want to avert your eyes or put on sunglasses because this is not going to feel good for you. In order, Freddie Kitchens, Doug Marrone, Romeo Crennel, Jason Garrett, Leslie Frazier, Tom Cable, Mike Singletary, Mike Tice, Dave McGinnis, Dick LeBeau. That is the only 10 times this has happened in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Do you know what every one of those coaches, except for one, has in common?
A losing record.
They have losing records, and not only is it a losing record, most of them are god-awful. Doug Marrone, 23-43. Romeo Crennel, 4-15. And you know why? There's a very simple reason as to why.
Why?
Some guys are A's, and some guys are B's.
Mm-hmm.
Could Rich Bisaccia get this job? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to go your way? No. Because there's too many things that have to go right with this team. You caught lightning in a bottle as the us against the world. Nothing's gone our way. We're going to band of brothers come together and take on the world.
Right.
Well, then you played Cincinnati and you had a lack of talent, and that's really not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the web-only 3 o'clock or third hour at 5 o'clock Eastern time today, I will be unveiling my first round of my first 7-round mock draft. And the Raiders get a guy in my mock that will help.
Okay.
Because they have to replace Henry Ruggs.
Yeah.
There is a way you can hire Bisaccia. The problem is that he's not really going to be the head coach. He's going to be a figurehead at best.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other thing I did not tell you that those coaches had in common, their staffs were disasters. In large part, they were college guys and guys that had never been elevated to this position before, getting their first shot at bigger jobs.
Right.
And they never go well. If you hire Bisaccia, I feel like you have to I think you got to do better than Greg Olson on the offensive side as the coordinator.
I would agree.
I'm not sure that Gus Bradley's going to hang around. And I'm going to use the Pep Hamilton rule of Pep Hamilton looked at the Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator job and went, why would I take this to get fired in a year?
Mm-hmm.
Because Bisaccia is not going to get a long rope.
Right.
I mean, it's not like he can go 5-12 next year and they go, yeah, that's fine. We'll just keep doing this. So why would you do it?
No.
That's where I've gotten to is why would you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a lot of people, I know Jason Trump said this on a social media post that we put out. A lot of other Raider fans they seem to really like Rich Bisaccia. He has a role. He can be your special teams coordinator. He can be your associate head coach. Anytime you promote the loyal, long-time assistant, it almost always goes poorly.
Right.
Even to take the interim thing out. Just guys that have gotten head coaching jobs that shouldn't have. And be honest with yourself. We do this for a living. I knew who Rich Bisaccia was coming into this year.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever think he was going to be a head coach ever?
Not a chance.
No.
No, he's a good special teams guy, revered around the league. The one thing is he has the faith of his guys. They have been through.
None of that matters. And I firmly believe none of that matters.
Really?
There are a lot of coaches that have had the faith of their guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tice was beloved by some, not all.
Right.
There is one big exception. He had the faith of his guys.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you're not a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a head coach, and you start having to put Band-Aids on things to figure things out. It's not a good idea. The Jacksonville Jaguars had, I'm not going to say all the talent in the world, but they had enough. And what do? You turn it over to Doug Marrone, and what happens? It comes crashing into the ocean. Because you know when guys have the faith of their team? When they're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Rich Bisaccia gets his job, comes out and goes 0-4 to start next year. You know what's going to happen? Every player in that locker room is going to go, hey, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Right.
Maybe we should have seen what that feller in khakis from Michigan wanted.
Right. And this is where the job of the front office, of the GM, which they don't have one of those right now.
That's another layer of this.
Right. Comes into play of the guys like him. You've got Max Crosby, you've got Derek Carr, you've got others out there that are saying we want him around. We've been through so much together. He has the ear of the team. Everybody bought in. We rallied when nobody believed that we could. Well, except for Jeremy. Jeremy was one of the lone.
I was a champion of the bandwagon. No big deal.
Right. But Derek Carr, I think he actually said in his press conference that Tank Spencer, he just hasn't believed in us at all. And it was because of Rich Bisaccia that we were able to pull it all together and make a run and make it into the playoffs. That was a step forward for this team. Do you destroy all of that? But
you don't destroy it.
If he's not the head coach.
No. This was a patchwork, put it together on the fly. I never could figure out why you would have a coach like Gus Bradley on the staff and you turn this over to Rich Bisaccia.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the loyal, long-time assistant. And you have the Rudy factor of, we're all in this together. It's been such a problematic year and all these things have not gone our way. And you rally behind the guy. The problem, he's not the greatest coach you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to be. The talent on this roster is not top 6 in this league. And it's not going to be. So then it becomes a thing of, what can you do? And I know I've heard all the talk about Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
In the next segment, I'm going to tell you that there's a coach that's not Jim Harbaugh that is very closely related to him that I think should be the coach of this team. But
okay,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
If you look at this and you listen to the players, that's fine. Think about who these players are. All right, Max Crosby was a mid-round find. Mm-hmm. A lot of people liked him. He had a good workout combine period, and he kind of shot up draft boards. Derek Carr, how committed to Derek Carr are you?
I mean, I feel like they're in it with Derek Carr.
I don't.
Really?
They can get out of that in 1 year. If you make Rich Bisaccia the coach, you're committed.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why you're doing this. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Is that you're trying to keep the band together. You're trying to take what you did and cast it again.
Mm-hmm.
Ask you a question. From the time Rich Bisaccia took over this job, was after the Monday Night Football game. Technically, he coached that game, but that was all in the same day, so I don't really count that.
Right.
They lost to the Bears for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
How many playoff teams he beat after that?
2.
It's exactly 2. The Eagles that we said should not have been in the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
and the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving, in what was a tremendously weird game that I made a lot of money on. Other than that, they beat a lot of average teams in the AFC.
Yes.
All right, you beat the Broncos, who were closer to a playoff team than we thought they would be. You beat the Browns, who were what I told you they were. The Colts, who absolutely fell apart, and the Chargers, who fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
You come back with Rich Bisaccia, you have to play that same 4-game stretch again. How do you think it goes? Denver with the money to add a quarterback. Cleveland that doesn't have to bring back Baker Mayfield. The Colts, who, let's be honest, are better than the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers, who are better than the Raiders.
Yeah.
You tell me you lather up and do that again and go 0-4, nobody would be surprised.
Of course.
Nobody. Because this is a difficult job. And that's what nobody wants to seemingly talk about in this. This is a hard job. The Raiders are a linchpin franchise in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Been around since seemingly the dawn of time.
Since the merger.
And they have some of the most intense fans in this league. And I know that's what you think you want right now, but it's not. You want him on the staff. You want to be able to see him on Sunday running a fake punt or whatever weird thing he does, and all the guys rally around him. Mm-hmm. You don't want him as the guy calling the plays. You don't want him as the guy calling the shots because you have to do too many things around him, and you're just not talented enough. Is Rich Bisaccia the reason Darren Waller went from a guy cut off the practice squad from the Baltimore Ravens to a Pro Bowl tight end? No. And you can say whatever you want to about John Gruden. I'm not going to tell you he's a great person. I don't know him personally. Mm-hmm. I read some of the things he said, which were less than ideal. Mm-hmm. He was still a good offensive coach. That's how you got here, is you had a coach that took a guy like Hunter Renfrow, a guy like Darren Waller, a guy like Derek Carr. These are not top 10 players. These are not top 10 talents, or at least they weren't when they came into Las Vegas.
Right.
I can argue now they all are. I can argue Darren Waller's there's no arguing. He's a top 3 tight end in this league.
Yes.
Derek Carr's a back end of the top 10 quarterback. Mm-hmm. Hunter Renfro's a top 10 slot receiver in this league.
Okay. I was wondering how you were going to get Hunter Renfrow the top 10.
I would say if you went total receivers, he's in the top 20. And I
could
don't
get
think
there.
It's 20.
Yeah,
I would say he's
there.
more in that 15 to 17 range.
Okay, I could get there.
He's not Stephon Diggs, but he's the best version of Cole Beasley you've ever seen in your life.
Agreed.
And at the end of the day, you've got to find somebody that can take that talent another step forward. And you got to find a GM that can hit on the draft picks that whether it was Mayock, whether it was Gruden, whoever it was, missed on. Because you need to start patching these holes to where you have talent and you have ability that matches the Bengals, the Chargers, the Colts. These teams that you beat them. There was a lot of happenstance that went into that. Mm-hmm. And me, I just win, baby. I enjoyed the ride.
To me, part of this decision comes down to the emotion of it. Are you going to get caught up in the emotion of the rally cry that came from Rich Bisaccia, or are you going to make the smart football decision? What exactly is the smart football decision? Let's talk about that up next, right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Strong cold front headed our way, bringing with it colder air and snow for the end of the week. Clouds increasing tonight, rain expected late. Temperatures drop down into the upper 30s. Scattered mainly morning rain showers for tomorrow. Late day snow showers possible with highs right around or just over 40. A little bit better chance of snow showers Thursday night and Friday. Cold on Friday, upper 20s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected. And seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Don't do it. Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. It's time to call QC Kinetic, non-surgical regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgery, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients rave about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Yes, Ms. Tubbs.
No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not...
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
Right you are.
It's ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, seen everywhere on the YouTube channel. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get in on the chat section. And what is the right move? What is the right move here for the Las Vegas Raiders? Because you've got all these warm feelings going on with Derek Carr and Max Crosby, and they're all pumping up Rich Bisaccia. There was the story out there that he wrote handwritten notes to all his players, thanking them for their contributions through a tough season. He's made inroads with all the players. Mm-hmm. And I think you go into this meeting of Mark Davis needs to sit him down and say, look, I'm not sure that you're ready for this. I don't know that you want to be the guy.
Has there ever been a meeting in the history of the NFL between two people with this much influence and this little money spent on their haircuts?
No, there hasn't.
Because Rich Bisaccia, I'm pretty sure he's doing that himself.
Yeah.
Because you don't need somebody to – there's no hair up there.
Right. But you sit him down and you say, look, we would love for you to be here. We love what you achieved this year, bringing this team together when all odds were against you. But I think we do need to go in another path. And if that's the home run swing for Jim Harbaugh or whoever.
That's the first call.
Of course
I got news for you. If Bisaccia gets this job, it's because Harbaugh said no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's entirely possible. I'm not sure that's where you should stop, though.
Okay.
We've gotten a lot of responses on social media from Raiders fans that basically say, if Harbaugh says no, just give the job to Rich Bisaccia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that's where I'd stop. And look, I've said I'm not in love with this coaching crop. Dan Quinn doesn't really move me. But there's a coach out there that I feel like is getting devalued by the day.
Okay.
He's at a very hard place to win.
Okay.
And I think you would be a great NFL head coach.
Who is it?
And his name is David Shaw.
Oh, okay.
If Jim Harbaugh tells me no, I think my second call is to David Shaw. That is a guy that has done more with less, probably more than any coach in the country.
Right.
People will look at his record and go, oh, but he hasn't had 10 wins in 4 or 5 years, whatever the case may be. Yeah, because he's at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford has Notre Dame-level academics without the allure of being Notre Dame.
Right.
He's also manufactured a great deal of quarterbacks. Got one in that would have been in this draft had he not come back. Just pumped out Davis Mills.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a good job running offenses. And I'm looking at that Raiders job just going, that all of those things seem to fit. And I've felt this way for a long time. Before the Harbaugh thing ever came up, if you remember, I said David Shaw's name months ago.
You did.
Well, I think when Gruden was let go.
Mm-hmm. But there has been no talk about that. I haven't seen any rumblings about him being interested or teams
David
reaching
Shaw
out
shuts
to
all
him?
of these
or...
things down immediately.
Mhm.
He's not. If he were to ever take a job, you would have no clue until the press conference was scheduled.
Okay.
It's one of the things I love about him so much is that this is a guy. You had a lot of things go on in Vegas, and Vegas is a different city.
Right.
Like, I'm not one of these, moral police. We should never put a team in Las Vegas. I'm really angry it took as long as it did, actually. But there are a lot of outside distractions. You need a strong voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think David Shaw's that guy. I really do. And, hey, if Rich Bisaccia is your special teams coordinator, great. That's fantastic. Everybody's happy. He's still in the room. And next year he can write Christmas cards to the entire team or whatever it was he just did.
Right.
I saw that story, and that was all, a touchy-feely. But we all know I don't do emotions well.
We know you don't do emotions well, but the emotions are there in this case. And my question becomes, if you don't get the home run hire and you just hire like Brian Daboll to be the next head coach.
Daboll. He's the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
I don't care when they get put out.
That's been super close.
I can't tell you I'm 100% sure, barring somebody comes in and just blows them away, or they don't want to wait for him to win a Super Bowl, which he's about to.
Yeah.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
All right.
Brian Daboll will be the
Well, I
next
was
head coach
just
of the Miami
basically using him as an example of if you're going to go with one of these, cookie cutter guys, like if you're not going to hit the home run. Like, to me, David Shaw would be a great home run.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh, great home run. Other than that, is that where the list stops? Do you go 1, 2 Bisaccia, or do you go like 1 through 10 and then Bisaccia?
Oh, no. You want me to tell you what I would do? And I'm going to put this on the stream of our YouTube channel. Every time I thought, maybe we should just give the job to Rich Bisaccia, I'd throw that up on the screen and go, Hillbilly Hand Fishing, Doug Marrone, Romeo Cornell, Jason Garrett. When Jason Garrett is your success story, I think I'm going to pass. I believe I'm going to just tap out on that and go, no, I'm good.
Again, interim coaches made the permanent head coach. They don't fare well. Since 2000, there's only been one with a winning record.
Jason Garrett.
Who's
18 games above 500.
Yeah. And then the closest you get next is Mike Tice with the Minnesota Vikings, who went 32-33.
And Hillbilly Hand Fishing, who was good for nothing except being a constant punching bag for me. My favorite nickname I have ever given anyone is Freddie Kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I came into this thinking everything I was going to say was going to be completely different than what I actually said.
But what do you think? What do you think Rich's mindset is going into this? Do you think he believes he's a head coach?
Everybody believes they're a head coach. If you get to this point,
right,
you think that if I got the chance, somebody just had to give me the opportunity.
Well, now you've had the opportunity. You've gone 7-5. You can now probably be in the best interim coaches discussion after going 7-5.
And that's fine. I mean, he's got a spot in this league for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at this and go, the Raiders have loftier aspirations. That's a really attractive job. I mean, really think about the quarterbacks that these jobs come with. There's a lot of Drew Lock, Tua Tagovailoa, Davis Mills. Vegas, you get Derek Carr. I know what he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting here telling you that he's an MVP candidate. He's markedly better than what everybody else has.
Yeah. M85 says Jim Harbaugh or bust at the moment with Raider Nation, and that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's how it should be. I think it should be a list. Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw. The one that I really like is Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about him more in the second hour. I like Kellen Moore a lot.
Right.
I'm a big fan of taking your shot with you never know what this guy could be. What I hate is we're going to hire Leslie Frazier. Do I need to pull the list back up? Are you not getting
Was he on the list?
Oh, yeah.
I totally skipped over his name on the list.
Yeah, he's it's because it's been 10 years since anybody gave him a shot. He was 21-32.
With the Vikings,
and won.
shockingly.
Shocking how many interim coaches had ties. Just throwing that out there. There's been like 8 of those in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Interim coaches have 3 of them. It's just a weird little anomaly. Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything.
Just one of those things I noticed.
All right. I think Rich Bisaccia needs to be on this staff, and he needs to, give him a pay raise. Give him a pay raise as the associate head coach, and let him be a part of the process of bringing in whoever you're going to bring in to be the head coach. I think the emotional part of it, you kind of want this guy around after what he did for you. But I wouldn't sacrifice the future of the franchise just because he makes us feel all warm and fuzzy and gives us handwritten notes.
The Sports Tag.
Just a bit outside.
All right, here's the 411, folks.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the news today because Bruce Arians has been fined $50,000 by the NFL for striking one of his players. If you missed what happened on the field against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card game, Bruce Arians goes over to there's the tackle, there's the scrum. Andrew Adams is on the field, and he's pulling dudes off the pile, which, by the letter of the law in the NFL, that could be a penalty.
Don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes. Don't be stupid. Don't get us a penalty when we don't need it. So, not that you ever need a penalty, but Andrew Adams.
I'm going to argue that it's kind of like a technical. Every once in a while, you need a technical. Maybe that's the coach in me. But every once in a while, you need one of those.
Aaron Donald would disagree. Is that what you're saying?
A little bit.
He's got that fire in him.
Every once in a while, you got to set the tone.
But Andrew Adams was pulling dudes off the pile. You can get a flag for that. Bruce Arians comes in, and he just whops him upside the head. I love how they're phrasing this, too, in the in all the scripts of the stories of he swiped at Andrew Adams' helmet. No, he hit him. He was trying to make a statement. And then when he missed and, he hit him, but he didn't really hit him as hard as he wanted to, he kind of stuck out his elbow just to elbow him in the arm to say, dude, what are you doing? He's been fined $50,000 for that. Physical contact with your players is below the bar that the NFL sets for NFL head coaches. That was the reasoning that the league gave for the $50,000 fine. For one, think this is an idiotic thing to do, and I dig it.
What?
His explanation was, I have seen enough dumb. And you know what? At some point, you get to that point where, I have had it. This is all the moronic, activity that I can stand today. Just here, have one upside your head.
I have no issue with this, and maybe it's just the way that I came up, but I don't really have a problem when a coach just goes, boop. It's really all he did.
Yeah, pretty much.
He booped him. That was what he did. At the end of the day, that's exactly what that was. I do it to my wife all the time.
Yeah.
Right on her little nose. Just boop. This
is a little better than a boop. This is like a smack in the back of the head.
Well, it'd be a lot different if Bruce Arians was wearing a helmet, the player wasn't, and then he smacked him. Right. Now we have something to talk about.
I was also raised that way though too. This is a generational thing. This is the soft offhands parenting world saying this is bad. We shouldn't have coaches making contact with players. And then I'm sitting here thinking, I remember that time I smarted off to Granny at dinner, and Mama just whopped me in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's a little different than a coach. That's family. I do understand the difference in that, but I don't have an issue with this. Look, I had a lot of coaches in my day. I've been called a lot of things that I cannot say into this microphone under any circumstance. There's no rule in radio. You can do anything once.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't test it.
9 of the ones I could think of, I'd do it one time. And then I would get escorted away from the building.
Yes, indeed. No, this is absolutely stupid. I agree with Alexander in the comments. This is dumb. The fine was, I guess the NFL thought they had to do
Kevin
this
Vick.
PR-wise.
Pay it in pennies. I love that idea.
Yes.
Pay it in pennies.
Oh, there's definitely somebody that'll
Why
go.
do we still have a penny?
You deliver the sack of 50,000 coins or whatever to
That's not how math works.
I know, I understand that.
It'd be 5 million.
The 5 million, whatever. So you deliver the pallet of 5 million pennies to them. Captain Fear is pushing the cart.
Why do we still have a penny? And this is a weird question. I didn't plan on asking this, but I wonder this a lot. Why do we still have that? I mean, is the
because
copper not worth more than that?
I mean, if you round it up, well, they'd have barely any copper in them anyway.
Well, I mean, and that's fine, but I mean, people do crimes all the time and steal copper. So obviously there is value to copper. There's a copper coin. These are the things I think about. You know, I don't sleep well. So I have a lot of idle time to sit around and go, why do we do that? That's stupid. We shouldn't do that.
Well, we have to have pennies because that's how math works.
No, round that to the nickel. We could do nickels and get rid of pennies and nobody would care.
Really?
And when I become president, I'm doing away with the penny.
You don't think there's going to be that one coupon cutter out there or that gaggle of coupon cutters out there that are like, you know what, that was 2 cents more and I need that 2 cents.
Yeah, that's 10%. All right, we'll round up for you. It's fine. We'll round up to the highest, to the nearest nickel. Everybody else, you get rounded down. Any objections? No says I. That's what I thought.
Let's move on.
There is no player in the NFL more underrated to me than 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. He gets more hate than any, I think, borderline elite quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
Against the Dallas Cowboys, he only threw for 172 yards. He had no touchdowns. And there has been a lot of hate that they won against Dallas in spite of him and not because of him.
Okay.
Well, see, here's where that argument falls apart for me. When something happens once, that could be an accident. Things accidentally happen all the time.
Right.
Do you know what Jimmy Garoppolo's record as a starter is? He's 33-14.
Dang.
Do you know what every other quarterback that has played for the 49ers since he came here's record is?
Losing.
Not that.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's real. I don't know to the number, but it's real bad.
That's a lot of C.J. Beathards and Nick Mullenses.
And there's another one. Who's the other one? Oh, there was a third one, and I can't remember who it was.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's going to bug me. I'll think of
it. Yeah, I can't think of who it is either.
Well, apparently Jimmy's heard all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
He did an interview with Monday Morning Quarterback's Peter King, and his quote was, all the noise out there and everything, keep it coming. It fuels me, and it keeps me going. It's a good thing when people are talking about you. And me being the, I don't mind when people tell me that they don't like me. Right. I just go,
good. Let the hate flow through you.
I just want to give a shout out for the button usage there because I thought you were going to try to go another route, and that was not going to play well. Save that one for the third hour.
It's fine.
I thought we were going to hear the Tiger King for a second.
No. You'll hear that in the third hour.
Are you crazy?
I use a lot of Joe Exotic sound bites in the third hour.
Right.
And today's a mock draft day. Oh, yeah. I might just break out full into Joe Exotic's song. Somebody in the comments tell me what Joe Exotic song you want to hear me sing in the third hour. I'll totally do it. I know them all. I know them all.
He does. He studied way too much, which is
don't know if I studied. Just spent a lot of time, and maybe going to sleep listening to Joe Exotic YouTube channel.
Are you serious?
Yeah, more than once. Look, okay, we work in a radio station with at least 4 different musical channels. I hear a lot of noise that comes out of these doors.
Right.
Joe Exotic's more music than some of the things I hear come out of here. Okay. I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying any stations. I'm just saying there's some music that people like that I do not personally understand.
I'm with you on this. I've always pulled back when it came to the Jimmy G is overrated thing. I mean, I get the injuries, all of that, but now he's in the second round of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time he was fully healthy, he was in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get your best ability is your availability, but, I mean, can't we give a guy a break for that?
Okay, so Jimmy Garoppolo came over at the trade deadline of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Garoppolo came to San Francisco in 2017. Do you know how many losses they have in that time?
22.
It's 42? Jimmy Garoppolo has 14 of them.
Wow. So there's 28 wins?
2-1. Yeah, it's 28 losses for every other quarterback not named Jimmy Garoppolo when they start. Oh, and by the way, 2 of Jimmy's losses are games that he got knocked out of.
Right.
It's just one of those things that I still look at and go, I don't understand your logic on that, because he just seems to win wherever he goes, and he is going to be tremendously sought after in the offseason.
Yeah, win wherever he goes. See, he's been one place. He's been in San Francisco.
He was in New England, too.
Yeah, but he didn't win there. I mean, he was never counted on.
I'm going to be honest with you.
The guy.
Well, he started for Tom during his suspension.
I get that.
And he was pretty good in that, and I'm going to level you. That New England team was bad.
Well, it was so much
talent-wise. Yeah, I mean, yes, I know they won a Super Bowl. I got it. Okay,
right.
They're like Alabama. If you played 4 years for New England in the last 20, you've automatically want to stop.
I mean, it was so much that Bill Belichick. That was the story. Is that Bill Belichick wanted him instead of Tom. He wanted to move on at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I understand why you didn't. Yeah. It's just now you're stuck with Mac Jones. I can't say that and not laugh. Anytime Mac Jones' name comes out of my mouth now, I just invariably laugh.
You just went to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. You're fine.
I saw, and this is a total aside, but this was NBC Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They had a discussion. This actually happened of if Seattle or Houston offered you Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson from Mac Jones, would you do it? Of course you would. You would do that so fast that literally Mac Jones would be on a plane before you hung up the phone.
Right.
They went on about that for 45 minutes, and I watched more of it than I'm proud of.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that for more than a couple of seconds.
I've never heard yes said this way. That seems like a lot of words for
But did they have legitimate arguments?
Oh,
like, was it even half believable?
Max Younger and all the legal problems with Deshaun Watson, of which I get that one. If they offered Russell Wilson and you had to give them the next 5 ones you had in Mac Jones, you would do that in a heartbeat.
Whole lots of teams searching for their futures right now. The Seattle Seahawks made a little bit of news by cutting out Ken Norton Jr.
Of which I didn't really understand how he got another year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand how they looked at that defense from last year and went, yeah, Ken's fine. Couldn't stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels.
They're good.
Sure, just try them back.
They're good. They're good situationally. It's fine. I mean,
they were good when they situationally played teams that were absolutely terrible.
Right. I mean, statistically speaking, they were one of the best teams in the league. You know, on like third downs and in the red zone and keeping points off the board.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of like saying I've never lost in a marathon.
Right.
I've also never run a marathon. So if you don't ever do anything, then yeah, you can probably be pretty good at it.
Right.
Fictitiously.
So Seattle's making big decisions. And, you know, apparently Bill O'Brien, he's out of the Jag search, which I think is the best news the Jacksonville Jaguars could have hoped for.
And I think that's insane. He was the best candidate for that job by 6 miles.
You think he's still got a path to be a great coach in this league, like to take a team far in the playoffs?
He's already been a good coach. The Bill O'Brien hate to me is absolutely stupid.
Is it as stupid as the Jimmy Garoppolo hate?
They're pretty equivalent.
Okay.
I actually see them together. You know? Yeah. Bill O'Brien is to coaches what Jimmy Garoppolo is to quarterbacks.
There you go.
I like analogies.
Yeah, see how we tied all that together.
Or similes. I don't remember. I didn't pay attention in school.
And apparently tomorrow, Matt Eberflus is coming in for his second interview with the Jags.
He's actually a finalist for that job.
Yeah.
He's a finalist. He's actually a finalist for a couple jobs.
Well, Mike Garoppolo reporting that...
Garoppolo. I never can pronounce his name correctly.
It's Janine's
It's not
brother.
Garoppolo. I do know that much. That's Janine Garoppolo.
It's Janine's brother. Yeah, it's fine. It's not at all. But anyway, he's reporting that nobody wants to work with Trent Baalke, which is not a shock to anybody.
Stunner.
But that Bill O'Brien apparently hasn't like that was Trent's guy. Trent wanted Bill O'Brien, and there's somebody in the organization that's telling him no, which I feel like that's growth.
You had Shad Khan going, I've had my fill of jerks. I need no more jerks. I'm stuck with you, Trent Baalke. You will be the jerkiest of all.
Right.
We shan't have any more.
Right.
I still maintain Byron Leftwich gets that job. Solely because I don't see how he's not going to get a job, and I don't know which other one he would get. Because he doesn't make any sense anywhere. He doesn't make sense with the Raiders.
Right.
He doesn't make sense with the Broncos. Makes perfect sense with the Jaguars.
Why not the Broncos?
You don't have a quarterback. The thing he does best, because they're not drafting a quarterback. That team's too good. If any quarterback moves through trade, it will be to the Denver Broncos.
Agreed.
And I'm going to lather up and say the same thing I said last year. I fully believe it will be Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be as much quarterback movement as people believe there will be.
Well, we thought there was going to be massive amounts last year, and it let us down.
You had a lot of rookies.
Right, but there was no Deshaun Watson. There was no Aaron Rodgers didn't move. Russell Wilson didn't move. We're at the same spot again this offseason, but guess what?
The only one I can tell you is going to move is Deshaun Watson and Jimmy Garoppolo. Other than that, would I be shocked if everybody else just went, no, let's just do this again?
So
no.
So George Payton is going to get Kirk Cousins to come in there and
let me put it this way. I've heard that for 2 solid years. That's coming from somewhere. And I know George Payton just is in love with Kirk Cousins. And after you watch what he just did, you put him behind I'm not going to say a better line, you put him behind a more experienced line in Denver with Judy and Sutton and Fant and
the running game
and Javonte Williams. And now you're looking at it going, okay, Kirk, all we need you to do is do what you did last year. That's it. Just be that guy. Don't be crazy primetime throw 43 interceptions.
But then would that not make more sense for Byron Leftwich, a guy who just worked with Tom Brady, to go in and be the coach?
No, because you don't want a first-time head coach with that. I'll be honest with you, that's the reason that's the only thing about Dan Quinn that makes sense in Denver. You're going to have a lot of personalities out there. And a first-time head coach, that could go sideways. And I have to say this, and I'm not directly aiming this at Adam Black.
Okay.
But he just so happens to be the one that said it in our comments. Does Watson move if Flores comes to Houston? Let me say this as clearly as I can, because I've been asked this question about 75 times. I don't care if they hire a blood relative of Deshaun Watson to be the head coach of this team. He will never play another down with the Houston Texans. I don't care if they hired him to be the head coach. He would still not play another down for the Houston Texans.
Right.
That relationship has soured. But there is a rumor, and we'll talk about it after the break. There is a rumor with Deshaun Watson that I think deserves at least a little credence because it makes too much sense.
All right, we got to Green on Green picks of the night coming up next as well, right here on ESPN Asheville. You're in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to check us out at thesportsocracy.com.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
This week at Ingalls, select sizes and varieties Cheez-It crackers, 2 for $6. Select sizes and varieties Dunkin' Bag or K-Cup coffee, $4.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, the Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy payroll customer.
I had 0 experience running a business, which is why Patriot Software has been so valuable to us. Not only has it saved us time and money, it saved us headache in researching information about compliance and payroll. I would definitely recommend Patriot Software every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you. And to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DEL. That's 877-ASK-DEL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Hey, it's Tank Spencer, host of the Sportsocracy. It's a new year, and Jeremy and I are taking on a new challenge. We're teaming up with PhD Weight Loss to get healthier in 2022.
When the opportunity presented itself with PhD, Tank and I knew we could stand to lose a few pounds.
A few? Really?
Okay, it's a lot. Our combined weight loss goal is 200 pounds. But when we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, she told us just how attainable those goals could be. During our initial consultation, we were impressed by her enthusiasm for our success. And the biggest upside is the convenience.
This plan is so easy it can fit into the most hectic of schedules. They even have an option where you can do the program 100% over the phone. I've tried numerous diet plans and lifestyle changes, but I've never found one that's this simple. I mean, PhD gives you 80% of the food and the pathway to success. In 1 month, I've lost 19 pounds.
And I've lost 16. If your goal is to get healthier in the new year, join us on our PhD transformation.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
At Panera, you can say yes to both of your cravings. We call it You Pick Two. And with over 465 pairings, you'll find a meal sure to satisfy any mood. Are you feeling both fresh and fun? Pick our Fuji apple salad with a new Thai chicken soup. Or maybe you're feeling classic and bold. Pair some creamy mac and cheese with our new Citrus Asian Crunch salad. Pick your perfect pair and order a You Pick Two today. Panera, the familiar made fantastic.
Psst, a secret to sticking with your goals? The right gear. Which is why I went on Kohl's.com and got an Adidas hoodie for under $45, picked up some Nike sneakers, and got a new fleece from Tech Gear for just $12.99. Oh, you can also get an extra 30, 20, or 15% off with your Kohl's card and get free store pickup. If only exercising was this easy. Select styles, Adidas and Nike. Coupons do not apply. Ends January 23rd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Office, the closers only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
3-1 last night. A whole lot of over-unders. That's not something I usually play, but last night was a light night in the NBA. We do not have that problem tonight. Full slate in the NBA. I got 4 picks for you. First one, the LA Lakers are a 5-point favorite tonight at home against the Indiana Pacers. Let me be as clear about this as humanly possible. Without Miles Turner and the slew of other injuries the Indiana Pacers have, they are awful. Mm-hmm. They have lost 10 of 11. They are not good, and they don't score easily. I could see a path that – the reason this number's so low is because there's a path Dwight Howard doesn't play tonight, which puts LeBron at center, and that lineup tends to give up a lot of points. Well, here's the thing. Outside of Domantas Sabonis, there's nobody down low that scares you. It doesn't matter. This feels like an overreaction to me. I'm taking the Lakers -5. The Brooklyn Nets, I'm taking them in the money line tonight at Washington. They're actually a 1.5-point dog. Brooklyn has Kyrie Irving. Brooklyn has James Harden. I understand they do not have Kevin Durant. What has Washington struggled with a lot in the last month? High-scoring backcourts. I do not understand why Washington's a favorite in this game. I get that it's in Washington. I understand, I guess, how you would get there, but I don't understand why you would bet it. I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets in the money line. Finally tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers take on a depleted Chicago Bulls. In Chicago, Cleveland's a 3-point favorite. Over-under is 214.5. There will probably be no Zach LaVine tonight. He already got me once. He ain't getting me again. Chicago doesn't score easily down low against good fronts like Cleveland has. Evan Mobley's a great player. I think this line's off. Give me the Cavs -3 under the 214.5.
Do likewise, gents. Money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And, of course, you can take those wagers over to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code SPORTSOCRACY. They'll give you a 125% deposit bonus when you make your deposit and sign up. Our promo code, SPORTSOCRACY at betus.com.
And I have to give somebody, it's a nameless person, because see, I don't see who's doing things, but I see what action comes from us, from our show group on certain things. Somebody aggressively disagreed with me on Florida State last night, and good for you.
Yes.
Because that was a high 3 figures doubloon wager on my Florida State Seminoles in the money line. So good for you.
Wow.
I am sure you watched the end of that game very intently.
Yeah, hope nobody put money on the Tar Heels last night.
Yeah, if you did, that one was. Well, I mean, on the bright side, you didn't have to stay up and watch it. So
yeah, very true.
You just had already washed your hands of that money and gone, I'll see you later this week.
All right, so what's the deal with Deshaun? Where do you think he's going?
There has been a lot of talk that Deshaun Watson really likes Brian Flores, would really like to play for Brian Flores. Mm-hmm. None of that's not true. He was part of the allure to Miami, and that's the reason that the Miami thing stopped as soon as Brian Flores got fired. It ain't happening in Houston. I know he interviewed for that job. I firmly don't believe Brian Flores would take that job.
Mm-hmm.
If they offered it, I think he would say no. The more likely scenario is that he gets the Giants job, and then they make a move on Deshaun Watson to unite them in New York, not in Houston.
Okay.
There is nothing going to happen in Houston that mends all these fences.
Right.
It's just not.
No,
the franchise is over it. He's over it. The divorce is imminent. It's just a question of where does he land.
Right. The cord between the two has been severed.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, with
There's
the Jack
no
Easterby stuff and the Nick Caserio, none of it has been good. And Deshaun's out, and I understand why he's out. To me, them interviewing Brian Flores anyway was like so now you want to listen to what I have to say? You didn't want to have to listen to what I said earlier before all of this stuff went down. What's the best move for the Dallas Cowboys? Stephen Jones has said, look for Mike McCarthy to come back next year. There's a lot of reports, though, that Daddy don't agree. Jerry Jones seems to be done with Mike McCarthy, according to most reports, and that could be a fight within the organization. But I think it all has to revolve around what's best for Dak. You're stuck with Dak. You got to do what's best for Dak to do what's best for Dallas. Do you agree with that?
Not particularly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll discuss it coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville. Sports Center's coming up. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to hit on that live video link and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Strong cold front headed our way, bringing with it colder air and snow for the end of the week. Clouds increasing tonight, rain expected late. Temperatures drop down into the upper 30s. Scattered mainly morning rain showers for tomorrow. Late day snow showers possible with highs right around or just over 40. A little bit better chance of snow showers Thursday night and Friday. Cold on Friday, upper 20s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
There's no guidebook to adopting a teen, but that's okay because you don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Go to adoptuskids.org to learn more about how to be the perfect parent to teens in foster care. Sponsored by Ad Council.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. In 2016, one of my employees accidentally clicked through an online vendor's contract, which recommitted my company to an additional 12 months of their service. I called the vendor to explain the accident. Nope, they pointed to their ironclad contract, told me to pay or else. I will pay them, but after 12 months, I'm gone. I've been in business over 30 years, and I've never made my customers sign a long-term contract. Never. And now, my fifth successful company, Patriot Software, offers payroll to business owners with 1 to 100 employees, and there's no long-term contract. And if you need help with your payroll, we will help you for free. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of payroll free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Running back Derrick Henry, as he makes his way back from a fractured foot, responded well to the contact in practice. A decision on whether he plays in Saturday's AFC Divisional Playoff game versus the Bengals expected to be made on Friday. Having Henry on the field would dramatically change that game, notes our Chris Canty.
Even if he can't cut,
If he's running straight downhill, he is a bowling ball of knives that nobody on that Bengals defense wants to tackle. And if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator, I'm willing to take my chances with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown beating me because you know what? I know that 22 can beat me.
Chris Canty of Canty and Golick Jr. Henry last played in Week 8. Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians fined $50,000 by the NFL for swiping his hand at Tampa safety Andrew Adams' helmet during the wild-card win over Philadelphia. Adams was trying to pull a player out of a pile, which would have drawn a penalty when Arians attempted to stop him. Eagles GM Howie Roseman says that heading into this offseason, the mindset of the team is that Jalen Hurts will be their starting quarterback in 2022.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on now to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Wicked Weed Brewing.
And the second hour of the program, as always, brought to you by our good friends over at Wicked Weed Brewing. Go to wickedweedbrewing.com today. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. The Tennessee Titans are a big question mark for me in these playoffs. And I get maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe I'm just focusing too much on the absence of Derrick Henry and the momentum of the team and the cohesion of the team. Does any of that matter to you, Jeremy?
No, I don't care, even in the least. This is a team that's been together for a long time, same coach. I'm not particularly worried about the Titans, and this story is proof positive that you can make analytics, stats, and things like that tell you anything you want to, much like I'm getting ready to do. What do the Tennessee Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals have in common?
Ooh, what?
They lost to the Jets.
Oh, a dubious distinction.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah.
There's only 4 teams left in the AFC, and 2 of them lost to the Jets. There's the beginning of a comeback. 2023 NFL Super Bowl champion. Jets.
Aaron Schatz over at Football Outsiders wrote a story where he says that the Tennessee Titans could make history this year if they are to win a Super Bowl. And the history that they would be making is that they would be the only team in the NFL to win a Super Bowl and be really bad at the DVOA thing. Defense adjusted value over average. That is, explain it quickly.
It's a next level. I explain it. I wish you would have asked me to do that before we did this. Basically, if you had played the league average every game, what would your defensive efficiency have looked like?
Right.
No high highs of great offenses, no low lows of bad offenses. What would that have looked like?
Well, apparently the Tennessee Titans are the worst number 1 seed in DVOA in like 40 years in the NFL.
And that's such a biased stat.
Their DVOA for the season is minus 3%. So it's negative 3%, and never has a team won a Super Bowl with a negative DVOA. And they would only be, I think, one of 3 teams to even make it to a Super Bowl that had a negative DVOA.
Well, here's where that stat kind of falls apart.
Okay.
You have to look at the schedule because there isn't really a median average. All right, so what they're taught, you don't play schedules like that. Who's the number 1 offense in the NFL?
Oh, I'd say it's Tampa.
No, it's not, and you're not even close.
Not even close?
No, you're not even in the top 5. Oh, no, I lied. You're at 5, 35 yards behind 4. Buffalo Bills, 1. Kansas City Chiefs. I can't see the rest of the list, but of the top 10, they played 5 of them.
Right.
It kind of skews the metric.
Okay.
Plus, you spent so much time not healthy. There is absolutely no way for it to account for that. It's a skewed stat.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that has not been healthy all year long. They are healthier right now than they have ever been before. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
That's the healthiest they've been since week 1.
Yeah.
So what you did with no Derrick Henry, because that does put you in a different predicament when you're running Deontay Foreman instead of Derrick Henry. Stephen Tao said they also lost to Houston. Yeah, I get that. Do you remember who the receivers in that game were? Because I think they were 2 calls away from me.
Right. Nick Westbrook-Akina and
I just look at that and go, okay, does that really bother me? No. At close to full strength, yeah, they got shellacked by the Cardinals in week 1. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
You lost to the Jets in week 4. That was a long time ago. And that was the beginning of that team just being crippled. You know what else you did, not at full strength? You beat the Bills, who I think are the best team in the NFL. You demolished the Chiefs. You also beat the Rams. Oh, I forgot the Rams. Sorry. They were 4.
They were in there.
Yeah, they played the Rams too. Yeah, beat them too. I've seen them do a lot of good things when they're fully healthy. Now, what you're going to get, I mean, I can't sit here and tell you that I know. I can't tell you that everybody's going to come back and all of a sudden they're just going to be hunky-dunky. What I can tell you is that I don't really believe in Cincinnati's ability to stop Derrick Henry, which tells me that they probably stay in front of the chains, which is the number one predictor of what Ryan Tannehill is going to be. Ryan Tannehill behind the chains, bad. Ryan Tannehill in front of the chains, top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
And I believe that's what you're going to see. Now, what would they get the next week playing either the Chiefs or the Bills? I don't know. They're not going to smoke the Chiefs again, and I don't think they can beat the Bills again. So I'm not sitting here telling you this is my Super Bowl favorite. When you told me this morning that this is the worst number 1 seed in 20 years, I went, no, it's not.
I mean, I agree with that. Everything you just said, I agree with. I don't think that they are the worst. I mean, statistically, yeah, but that again, that falls back on I can make statistics say whatever I want to. Because when you take into account this team at full strength, he goes on in the article to break it down of, hey, actually, when they're healthy, like they're probably going to be this week, their DVOA is actually one of the best among the number 1 seeds in the last 40 years. They're only behind like 2 other teams in the league this year, which was Tampa and Green Bay. They would be 3rd in the league if you just took the games where they were all together. I think that's more likely the team that you're going to see this weekend. But again, I'm not extremely positive. Like, I will not bet my house on it.
There's not a game this weekend I would bet my house on.
No.
There's not one. There is no team that, I said this yesterday, there's no team that can win this weekend that would blow my mind. Now, we'll say there's one line that is very quickly getting into dumb territory.
Okay.
It is quite possibly 2 days away from being absolutely ridiculous, and that's San Francisco, Green Bay.
Where's it going?
Green Bay's way. Yeah, it's up to 6.5.
Really?
If that gets to 7.5, Jeremy is going to have more than a few doubloons on that one.
As you should. That's going the wrong way for me.
I heard Dan Orlovsky, I don't know when this was, he had basically said the same thing I did, that if you created a team that would create havoc for Green Bay, it would be San Francisco.
Okay.
That is exactly what they struggle. Every bit of San Francisco is what they struggle with. That's probably the one I'm the most confident of covering.
What,
now,
with
the winner? I have no idea.
What, with the pre-snap motion and all of that? Like
speed kills.
Yeah, that's true.
Discipline kills. And San Francisco is just one of those teams that you have to there are 2 things that you have to combat them. You have to be really fast in the linebacking core. What was the knock on Devondre Campbell forever? You're not fast enough to stay in front of running backs. That's the reason he flushed out of Atlanta and wound up in Green Bay. You have to play a specific kind of defense. Now, could Matt LaFleur scheme that? Sure. Absolutely could. Wouldn't stun me. I don't see anybody winning this game by more than a touchdown. And the fact that line's moving that way is shocking to me.
Right. I could see it getting lower. I can't see it getting higher.
The other thing that shocks me, just looking at the betting trends, Do you realize that 80% of the money is on one team in every game that happens this weekend except one?
Really?
I want to test you and see how many of these you can get. Cincinnati at Tennessee. 84% of the money's on one side, and it's Titans minus 3.5.
I'd say it's on the Titans.
Rams at Bucks. 88% of the money is on one side. The line is Tampa Bay minus 3.
The Rams.
Bills at Chiefs. 82% of the money is on one side, and it's Kansas City minus 1.5.
Bills.
3 for 3. We have a winner. Green Bay, San Francisco. 50-50.
Really? Even split.
At 6, which is staggering to me. It is staggering to me that stayed 50-50 at 6. I think this is going to be an incredibly fun weekend of football.
Oh, I agree.
2 games per day. I don't see any of them blowing out. Rob Johnson asked in the comments, is the line going up because of Bosa and Warner? That's certainly not helping. Because if those two don't play, now we have a bit of a conundrum. Because I don't know how in the world you're going to get anywhere near Aaron Rodgers. You're going to have to blitz, which takes away the advantage on Devontae Adams that you already have. And now I could easily see the path that Devontae goes 10 for 175 with 2 touchdowns, and this game's never close.
And if it becomes an offensive-centric game, I like Green Bay every time.
And see, I'm not there with you.
Really?
No. I think San Francisco can take advantage.
I don't think San Francisco wants to get in a shootout with these guys.
I'm not saying they want to get in a shootout.
Okay. That's what I was talking about.
I'm saying this is not as much you're bringing a knife to a gunfight as you're going to lead on that it is.
Right. Well, if you
the thing that's interesting to me is how people look only at the quarterback. They don't look at anything else. And I'm not saying that you got to go full film geek like me and go, okay, I've watched Green Bay go up against this all year long, and I've yet to see them stop it. So now you're telling me they're going to do this against the team that does this better than anybody? I don't see that.
I'm not necessarily looking at the defense. I'm looking at the offense. Like, if you can't stop that offense, and if you can't get pressure on Aaron Rodgers to make mistakes.
They're built to do that better than you think they are.
Really?
The scheme of San Francisco with that 3 high is just – it's difficult for quarterback. The reason that Aaron Rodgers has struggled with San Francisco forever is because patient quarterbacks are what can beat that. It's what got Dak Prescott in trouble. You get impatient, you start not trusting what your eyes are telling you, and you throw that interception where you go, how in the world did you not see that? Well, because you're not trusting what your eyes are seeing. Aaron Rodgers is notorious for taking shots when he shouldn't. And that's what's always burned him with San Francisco. San Francisco will bait you into that.
No.
And if you fall into their little trap, then it can be a very long day, as it was 2 years ago in the NFC title game.
But can they do that even without their 2 defensive stars?
Well, that's the question. I don't know that they're going to have to.
Right.
With the 2 of them, yes, they are completely equipped to do that.
Okay.
Without Bosa, now you're going to have to blitz to get pressure, and that's – I very rarely will ever move a line more than a half a point based on any one player outside of a quarterback. Those 2 are probably worth 1.5 together. And that's just where the line should be set. In terms of confidence, without the 2 of them, I'll take Green Bay. I don't care what number you put on it.
Right.
Yeah, Green Bay will struggle to stop them, but you're not going to be able to stop them either.
No.
Then it gets into the shootout you're talking about. At full strength, that San Francisco defense is better equipped to deal with that than you think they are.
I like Green Bay. I still do. And, if it doesn't happen, there's going to be massive discussions going on in that organization if that doesn't happen. If they lose in their first playoff game against San Francisco, that's going to be bad news. The fan base is going to be up in arms about Matt and Aaron Rodgers, I believe.
I don't know that you'll ever be up in arms about Aaron, but I could see Matt LaFleur catching a little more flack, especially if he does something monumentally stupid like he did last year.
Right. Well, I mean, this would be the 3rd straight season where you're supposed to be in the NFC Championship game, moving on to the Super Bowl. And this would be the 3rd year in a row you couldn't get it done.
They're certainly the team that I think is on the most – they have the most pressure. Tennessee, Cincinnati. All right, let's –
no pressure.
And this kind of goes to what you were talking about with them being a week 1. All right, let's say Tennessee comes out at home and gets beat by the Bengals. So long as you don't get blown out, you can speak every bit of that away. We weren't healthy until the playoff game. This was the first time we were at full strength since like week 4 or something ridiculous like that.
Right.
You can just speak it away. Cincinnati's hot. That's one of the most prolific offenses in the league. Buffalo, Kansas City. Either way. Buffalo, you came up against one of the most prolific offenses in the league. Buffalo, that's the hottest team in the NFL right now.
Right.
I would argue.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee's going to be facing any repercussions.
And there's only one team to me that cannot really afford to lose this weekend.
I think somebody alluded to this in the comments, but I found this stat earlier this week about Tennessee and their head coach, Mike Vrabel. Since he's been the head coach at Tennessee, they're 4-0 coming off a bye. Now, I know a lot of that depends on who they played after the bye, but getting the bye week might be a big thing. Obviously, it's going to be as far as the health of Derrick Henry goes. He was at practice today, made it through practice unscathed. 4-0 coming off a bye. Their average win is 20.5 points per game. That's pretty impressive. It should be scary for the Cincinnati Bengals. But again, Joe Burrow and all his talk about get used to it. This is the way it is now. We win playoff games.
I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I love the swagger of this kid.
Love Joe Burrow.
I mean, he's just got brass ones, and he is not backing down from the challenge. Which is why I favored them last week against the Las Vegas Raiders. And this week, they have a real decent shot of upsetting the number 1 team on the road.
I don't disagree with you.
It's all going to depend on how that defense can perform against them and whether or not they can stop Derrick Henry from doing what Derrick Henry does, which is basically just dismantle every opponent he comes up against.
And see, that's where it all kind of falls apart for me with Cincinnati. I don't know how you're going to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're all the reports out of Tennessee are, you know, he's passed all the medical benchmarks. He's good to go. That's not what you wanted to hear.
And especially for Cincinnati, if you're going to be without 2 of your best defenders.
I don't care what you have. If Derrick Henry's coming back at full strength, Cincinnati doesn't have anything to stop him.
Yeah, but Larry Ogunjobi would have helped, and so would Trey Hendrickson. And if neither of those guys can play this week...
Well, Trey Hendrickson looks like he's going to play.
He does?
From everything I've heard.
Okay.
Because it looks like he will play.
I mean...
Ogunjobi will not. He's done for the year.
Yes, we know that. He's got a foot issue. He's done. But Trey Hendrickson, you know, if you have to tape it together, son, I don't care if you have to glue it, you're going to be on the field for this game.
Yeah, I like the chances of Trey Hendrickson playing in this game.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Seen everywhere at thesportsocracy.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Strong cold front headed our way, bringing with it colder air and snow for the end of the week. Clouds increasing tonight, rain expected late. Temperatures drop down into the upper 30s. Scattered mainly morning rain showers for tomorrow. Late day snow showers possible with highs right around or just over 40. A little bit better chance of snow showers Thursday night and Friday. Cold on Friday, upper 20s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving incident-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic volume busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no incidents. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Hendersonville Road, no delays. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. Southwest of Waynesville in Haywood County, Great Smoky Mountain Expressway heading south near Walker Road. An accident here does have the shoulder closed. Check of your drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via Meadow Road. Drive time 11 minutes. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too. Because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
You say goodbye
and I say hello.
With Mercari, your unneeded things can find a new life.
Hello, hello.
Easily list and sell,
I know why you say goodbye and I say hello.
or discover great finds.
Hello.
Buy or sell almost anything.
You say goodbye and I say hello.
Download Mercari on the app stores or at Mercari.com. Mercari, your marketplace.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
At Panera, you can say yes to both of your cravings. We call it You Pick Two. And with over 465 pairings, you'll find a meal sure to satisfy any mood. Are you feeling both fresh and fun? Pick our Fuji apple salad with a new Thai chicken soup. Or maybe you're feeling classic and bold. Pair some creamy mac and cheese with our new Citrus Asian Crunch salad. Pick your perfect pair and order a You Pick Two today. Panera, the familiar made fantastic.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, there is a nice piece of stock music playing behind me that a talented composer worked really hard on. So let's enjoy it. Wow, almost overshadows the saving big when you switch to Progressive part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. As always, the second hour of the program brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check them out at WickedWeedBrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different. Is what's best for the Dallas Cowboys what's best for Dak Prescott? I can't get away from this statement in my own head of Stephen Jones has come out and said Mike McCarthy expect him to be back next year. Mm-hmm. Giving him the vote of confidence out there in the public. Okay, good, great, wonderful. However, there are a lot of reports that Jerry doesn't want this. Jerry wants to be done with Mike McCarthy. You're going to lose Kellen Moore. So in my head, it goes to who's better for Dak? I'm stuck with Dak. I have to make sure I get the most out of Dak.
Well, you do, and Kellen Moore has gotten the most out of him. Of the 6 years that Dak Prescott's been in the league, he's had over an 80 Pro Football Focus grade 4 times. Mm-hmm. One of them was his rookie year. The last 3 have been 3 years with Kellen Moore. Okay. One with Jason Garrett, 1 and 2 with Mike McCarthy.
So you don't think it's ever getting better? Like this is what Dak
who he is. He's the 10th best quarterback in the NFL. That's where he is. In his 6 years in the league, where do you think he has graded amongst quarterbacks? 7th, 19th, 20th, 10th, 9th, 10th. Mm-hmm. That's who you are. 4 of your 6 seasons, you've been between 7 and 10. Okay, then. That's who we are. When people tell you who they are, you should really probably listen to them.
Right.
And the expectation that Dak Prescott's ever going to live up to this contract, I don't care who his coach is. I don't care if it's Josh McDaniels. I don't care if it's Kellen Moore. I don't care if it's Mike McCarthy. He is who he is. He has elite weapons. Mm-hmm. Dalton Schultz, free agent. Amari Cooper really perturbed the front office this year.
Right.
So if you tell me I go into next year with broken down Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard with CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of dudes, you think that's going to get back? I don't care who your coach is. This team is leveraged to the highest extreme. Mm-hmm. And I can't get – you're talking about you can't get away from what Jerry wants. I can't get away from what Steven wants. This team has spent years trying to make it understood that Steven has a voice in the room. Why would he come out and say Mike McCarthy's safe? Mm-hmm. Because basically all it does is put you on a tee to go, well, it's still Jerry's call.
Right.
All of this palaver about Stephen Jones has just been mouth words memory times. They're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So now it's time to chalk up, all right, Mike McCarthy's coming back. Now, what's going to happen with Kellen Moore? I don't know. I can tell you there is not a lot of traction if you talk to beat writers around the league that any team is particularly excited about him as a head coach.
Really?
There's a favorite in practically every job. Dan Quinn's the favorite in Denver. Houston may interview me before it's all said and done because nobody wants that job.
Right.
Jacksonville's favorite's Leftwich. I could easily see a path that Kellen Moore's right back here next year as the offensive coordinator. And if that's the case, that's the best case scenario for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to trust this to a first-time head coach? Good luck with that. I've argued for years, this is the hardest job in all of sports. There is no job more difficult than this.
Head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes.
Okay.
Manager of the New York Yankees, maybe, but the interest in baseball has waned to such a point.
I mean, the pressure's still there, though.
I'm not saying it's not.
Right.
I just said it's one of the ones that's worth talking about.
Right.
But there's just a big difference between baseball and the NFL. This is a 12-month, 365-day-a-year sport.
Mm-hmm.
And the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, everything they do, everything they say, everything they wear is put under a microscope. You're telling me you want to do that with a guy that's never been a head coach before? Ever. Hasn't been in the league as a coach for that long.
Right.
And now you're going to put him under the scrutiny of this, and you think that's going to be successful?
And the last time they hired within the program, you got Jason Garrett.
There you go.
Right. And you ended up with 8-8 seasons pretty much every year.
Not as often as you think.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett was 3 to 4 games over 500 quite a bit. But that's kind of my point. And I'll be really honest with you. If I'm Kellen Moore, why would I want this job? Why would I want this?
Doesn't everybody strive for the biggest, brightest spot? This is the biggest, brightest spot.
This is the one job in the league that probably guarantees he never gets a second job. Because if he goes into Dallas, first of all, you're tying yourself to Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. I mean, I'm looking around the NFL going, whew, buddy, there's a lot of quarterbacks around here that I would much rather have.
Not a bunch. You just said he's a top 10.
There's 10.
Yeah, but, I mean, that means you're
first
top
time
third of the league.
Name me the last time a 33-year-old head coach took a job, it went poorly, and they got another one.
Yeah. I mean,
trust me, these guys look at this. And then you get into the psychology of it of, okay, Steven's the more rational one. Steven came out and said, I fully believe that Mike McCarthy will be back, or it's accurate that he'll be back. However he said that.
Yeah.
And then you fire him a handful of days later. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'm looking at this going, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. There are a lot of limitations here that I don't want to deal with.
And it's just more drama in the Dallas front office.
I just don't want to deal with it.
Right.
And see, this is and we talked about the Dak thing forever, and a lot of people couldn't figure out, why are you talking about Dak Prescott so much? Because we saw this coming.
Yeah.
Once you tie yourself to him, he has to be better than he is.
You knew once you were giving him $166 million or whatever it was that this is what you're getting.
And here's the take that's going to, I'll say, ruffle a feather or two. Is he better than Kirk Cousins? The answer's no. The answer's no.
But
they're headed down the same path that the Minnesota Vikings just went down. The only difference is they've drafted so well that they have so many expensive players that you're going to have to gut this team to in any way keep it together.
Right. But does he not have the physical tools to be as good as Kirk Cousins? I think he does.
I don't think he has as good of an arm. I think he's more athletic. I think he's smarter than Kirk Cousins. But at the end of the day, I think he has. There are limitations with Dak Prescott.
Right. I'm looking at Dak and I'm going, I believe that there's more. It's his mental state, I guess, of if he can get the mental side figured out, if he can, make less mistakes or whatever it is. I feel like he's got all the tools to be great in this league. But
and again, I'm going to ask the same question. Name me the last 29-year-old quarterback that got better. Got more expensive, the weapons waned, and he got better. I'll wait.
Yeah.
You're going to be thinking for a while because there's not one. And this is not going to be the one.
I mean, could he not mature to some point? Because
at 29 years old.
At 20, yeah, your physical peak as an NFL player
is 25.
Is 25 years old.
Yeah, he's 4 years past that.
Right. Your mental peak as an NFL player, as a quarterback in this league, some one study I found has shown it's a 33.
Name me the quarterback.
So he's still got time.
Name me the one that your weapons waned and you got better.
Yeah. Well, you've had
I go back to Dan Marino, who's one of the most prodigious, unbelievably arm talented quarterbacks I've ever seen. As soon as he got more expensive, all of a sudden the weapons go away.
Right.
No Super Bowls for Dan. You can't put Dan Marino and Dak Prescott in the same sentence.
Agreed. I mean, older quarterbacks who have had success and gone on to win after their physical peak. Obviously, that list is a lot of big names. They're not in. Dak Prescott's not in the category of a guy like Brett Favre, who won late in his career, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. I could keep going. Steve Young is a great example of a guy who was late.
Steve Young played the USFL for 4 years or 3 years or something like that.
Oh, I understand that, but these are guys who had success later in their career.
I'm not. You're missing and I'm getting the same thing in the comments. So let me clarify this because I'm getting a whole lot of Tom. But what about Tom Brady? He's 44. You do realize how good Tom Brady was in his 20s, right? Like broke all kinds of NFL records that will never be touched again. Led Randy Moss to, the greatest year that's ever happened for a receiver. That was in 2007. And I'm not the best at math. Not exactly my strong suit.
Right.
That was 2007. He was born in 1977. He was about 30 years old.
Right.
I've never seen anything like that from Dak Prescott. He had one unbelievable 6-game stretch statistically. Do you know where that ranks among, if you're looking at analytical grades, that beginning to last year, do you know where that ranks among Dak Prescott's first 6 games of seasons?
Where's that?
4th in 6 years.
Okay.
He's only had 2 that were worse. Because, he put up video game stats. They still weren't very good. And that's the problem with Dak, is now that he's this expensive, you can't keep this team together. And now you got to look at Micah Parsons and go, well, that's going to be expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's 4 years away, but that's going to be incredibly expensive.
Right.
So the DeMarcus Lawrences and the pieces of the defense, which is already not particularly good.
They got to go.
Exactly.
Right.
So now you get back into Dak Prescott having to put up video game numbers. How'd that work out? How'd that work out? I mean, you can ride this train all you want to. I can tell you right now, if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm not tying myself to this. There's no way.
All right. I mean, if they don't do something with Kellen Moore, I feel like they're going to lose him. There's going to be a team out there that is going to hire him in this cycle. Now, we have said that same thing about coaches in the past, Eric Bieniemy among them, but I feel like Kellen Moore is gone. He's going to get a head coaching job.
And I don't think I can tell you he's not the favorite right now.
Yeah.
I have yet to hear anybody that's bringing him back for a second interview. Now, there are a lot of teams that are early in the process. Could he get a look with the Raiders? Yeah.
Ain't he meeting with Denver this week? I think him and Dan both had meetings with Denver this week.
Dan Quinn's getting the Denver job.
Okay.
Unless Dan Quinn somehow gets paid $10 million to be the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys,
right.
He will be the next coach of the Broncos, whether we like it or not.
Right. A lot of players, they seek that bag in professional sports, and I have now decided the most important thing to me is seeking the next bag. The next bag from PhD Weight Loss. So when you go in there and you hit their benchmarks, they give you a little bag that's got just the amount of weight that you have lost. I had my 20-pound bag 2 weeks ago. I am now 2 pounds away from my next 10-pound bag. That's the 30-pound bag. I went in for my weigh-in this week, down another 4 pounds thanks to PhD Weight Loss, and I feel great. I feel great because I'm getting all the nutrients that I need. PhD has provided me with all of the shakes and the proteins and all of the things that I need to get through my week. All I got to do is basically add vegetables to this whole thing, and it all works. In 8 weeks, I've lost 28 pounds, 27.5 pounds. It's 27.5 pounds in 8 weeks. That's pretty good. And the convenience is great for us because we can just sit back here and grab whatever we need for lunch. Jeremy, you're doing it as well. And he's about getting his 20-pound bag next.
I have to go get that because I'm at 21 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm doing a lot of this over the phone. I do a lot of things in the morning. I can't always get over there. Mm-hmm. But I have over-the-phone consultations of what's working, what's not working. And since I have Tank, the food gets delivered right to me. It's very convenient. That's been the buzzword of this to me is convenience. That's what got me in the position that I was in. And now I'm down almost 22 pounds in the same 7 weeks that Tank is on.
Yep, and our goal combined is 200 pounds. If you've got a lot of weight to lose, even if you just have a little to lose, go check them out at myphdweightloss.com. myphdweightloss.com, and tell them Tank and Jeremy sent you.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, the weird story for today, it surrounds the sound of a toilet flushing for me. It's not something that you usually think would spark a legal battle, but that's exactly what happened in Italy. So in 2003, this is a very tight community. This is like an apartment building, condo building. These two brothers were living in a condo, and they put in a toilet. And the toilet flushed really, really loudly. The neighbors were pretty upset about that. So what did the neighbors decide to do? They took them to court. I don't know if there's any discussions like, hey, could you cut that back or what? But they had to take them to court. The original case got heard in court, and the court said, well, screw you. That's their toilet. It just flushes loud. You got to get over it. The couple then appeals, and they go to the next highest court in Italy. This thing went all the way to the highest appellate court in Italy. And they have now determined what, Jeremy? What would you do if you were the judge in this case? If somebody said, my neighbor's toilet flushed too loudly, and they need to compensate me for the invasion on my peace?
I would tell you to go away, but that's the reason I'm not a judge.
Well, they found that the European Convention on Human Rights, which was actually put together and signed after World War II, it basically gives you the right to your own privacy and family time. And these people, the guys who installed the toilet, they now have to pay this family $500 for every year that this toilet has been disrupting their sleep. It apparently was 3 decibels too loud for whatever the home statutes are. So this goes back to 2003. Now they have to fork over thousands of dollars for a toilet that flushed too loud. That's insane.
When I become president, I'm going to disband all frivolous lawsuits just for things like that.
Right, exactly.
I have a question that is now going live in our YouTube poll.
Okay.
There is a meat that I do not understand. I have never eaten it. I have never had the desire to eat it. And I do not know why people like it so much. And it's bologna.
Delicious.
I don't know how to spell it either, by the way. I thought it was Bologna.
Yes.
Well, apparently that's an Oscar Mayer creation. I did not know that. The reason that I'm asking this, apparently there is a thing that children do with bologna, which I fully don't understand, where they bite eye holes and mouth holes to turn it into like a mask.
Like a mask, yeah, like the Hannibal Lecter mask.
Yeah. Apparently that's happened so often that Oscar Mayer decided, hey, why don't we capitalize on this? And now they're making facial face masks that look like bologna.
Whoa.
That's cut out. It's got like little mouth bites for the eyes and the mouth to moisturize your skin and all kinds of things like that.
with the juices of the bologna?
No, it's not made of actual bologna. That's, sadly enough, not even the fourth most confusing part of this. It looks exactly like bologna.
Okay.
But it's not.
Like, is it thick slice or thin slice?
And as somebody that has seen what bologna will do to things.
A car, yeah.
I wasn't going to say that. Don't do crimes, all right, because that's crimes.
Right,
but vandalism. It will wreak havoc on anything if it gets warm.
Yes.
Not something that I want to put on my face. It's the #1 biggest seller on Amazon in 2022.
Wait.
It's $5. You get one hydrogel mask that looks... Okay, you can take this for what I'm getting. This looks like it was designed by the people that draw Peppa Pig. You can take from that what you want to, okay?
Okay, all right.
If you got kids in the car, okay?
Just big pink mask.
Yeah, and it looks like Oscar Mayer bologna.
Okay.
And people are buying it in droves. Why? Why are you doing that? Why?
But
First of all, why do you eat this weird meat? All right, this is like the Spam of deli meats.
Delicious.
Which is stop.
Delicious. Especially cooked up with some eggs and some cheese. Spam and eggs, man.
But why?
Because it's delicious. I've already answered this question.
It smells weird. It's not like, what does that come from?
Pigs.
I got that.
Yeah.
I understood that. I understood that much of the assignment.
Yeah. Or turkey or chicken.
Don't say it on the air. It's kind of like, I don't want to. I can't do it.
You want me to? I'm not going to describe the process. Don't worry.
I can't do it. I can't. All right. Bologna's weird. It's weird that people eat it. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. I haven't understood it since I was a child. I would watch people bring bologna sandwiches to lunch, and I would go, "That's not food. You're eating not food. Put ham on it and go, or turkey, or roast beef."
Bologna better than all of those.
Wrong.
Yep.
Not even kind of correct. Not even kind of correct. And I cannot get over this. It smells weird.
Mm-hmm. See, you had just mentioned this in passing to me, and I went, is it made of bologna? Because if it's made of bologna, and see, when you said face mask, I was thinking like face mask, like we're all conditioned to wear a face mask. Right, like a Rona mask, like it only goes around your face. Like, okay, so I get done with it. It's disposable. I could just eat it right off my face.
Patrick Holt said, get you a good thick sliced boar's head beer bologna, and it will change your mind. Beef bologna, sorry.
Yep.
Well, you can get that at your local Ingles supermarkets. Low prices. Love the savings.
All the boar's head meats.
I've yet to see a boar's head meat I didn't like. But I can't do bologna. I can't. Stephen Tao said it's a hot dog pancake. And there's why I can't do it.
But you like hot dogs.
Yeah, but I'm not putting mustard and ketchup and coleslaw on bologna. That's weird. That's
put
not
whatever
a
you
sandwich.
want to on it.
That's not a sandwich. Now we're getting into hot dog.
Well, hot dog is a sandwich.
No, it's not. It's not a sandwich.
It is a sandwich.
And if I wanted to eat a hot dog, I'd eat a hot dog. Why would I take a flapjack roadkill version of hot dog when I can have a good all beef delicious hot dog?
First off, it's cheaper.
I don't care about
you get
cheaper.
more. Well, I do.
I could care less about cheaper.
Bologna is delicious, and I don't understand. I don't understand your derision.
Because it's weird. Okay, that's my derision. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna eat a hot dog, eat a hot dog. Hot dogs are delicious, and you can buy 48 bajillion kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Beef, turkey, pork.
They have all of those flavors of bologna as well. Chicken bologna, turkey bologna.
Or I'll just eat ham and turkey and roast beef, and I'll be just fine.
You can go get all of this at your local Ingles store. Speaking of, it's time for something to chew on with Caleb Peak.
Even for these young guys, they need a rest. I think Howard has done the job of scrambling it up, and there's another pilfer. Alley-oop! Hello, hammer time! Tide bids, skies, and slams.
Give me more of that. I'm Caleb Peak. This is Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. And as far as I can tell, at least in recent history, a historically all-black college or university has never beaten a true Power 5 opponent. The fact is, absolutely nobody turned on Monday afternoon's MLK Day matchup between Howard and Notre Dame, expecting to see what we've come to define in 2022 as a normal basketball game. But what we got was eye-opening. To be clear, the Fox Sports broadcast team of Tim Brando and NBA veteran Jim Jackson didn't even try to sell the narrative that Howard would have much of a chance against the Irish. It was, as it should have been, all about Martin Luther King Jr., his sacrifice, his love and affinity for Howard University, and the resiliency of the HBCU community to keep pushing, even as the NCAA has become increasingly parasitic over the last 30 years. It was a well-prepared, well-produced broadcast, and Brando did fine on the call, especially in a fill-in role for Gus Johnson, the Howard alum who was forced off the air due to health and safety protocols at Fox. But when your opponent is an ACC school, they do a lot of traveling. For Notre Dame, it was the third road contest in the last 4 games. The Irish had just been run off the floor 2 days earlier by Justin Mutz and Virginia Tech, which means weary legs had very little time to rest. A 2-day turnaround is a challenge for any head coach against a team you've never met before, especially when you're working out of a hotel room. And Howard is a team that will fundamental you to death if your fundamentals aren't in order. Notre Dame turned the ball over 15 times. Howard blocked 4 times as many shots as the Irish, and the Bison won the assist battle 15-9. These are the ingredients in an upset elixir. Now, obviously, Howard ultimately didn't get the W on the score sheet as the ACC prevailed with better ball and clock management over the final minute. But what we saw on Monday afternoon was just a preview of some of the most underrated basketball that you'll see in this country. Because the style of ball that Howard's playing under Kenny Blakeney, the use of the pick and pop, the lack of reliance on one player, the dogged full-court press that caused Tim Brando to casually compare it to Nolan Richardson's 40 minutes of hell, that's real basketball. And it's just one reason why I love conference tournament season almost as much as the NCAA tournament itself. While Power 5 conferences undoubtedly have the highest level of talent gathered in one place, the group of 5, the HBCUs, and other mid-majors paint the picture of what college basketball is supposed to be. Just think back to some of the bigger gimmicks the NCAA has tried in recent years to generate basketball buzz. Remember the Carrier Classic in 2011 and 2012 when North Carolina, Michigan State, and others played a season-opening slate aboard a big boat? It was cool for marketing purposes and ticket sales, but think about it. For anyone who isn't physically at the game taking in the atmosphere but is stuck at home watching on TV, like the vast majority of us, how was anybody supposed to know the game is on an aircraft carrier? All you could see during the action was the hardwood and the players. And things like the Maui Invitational. I mean, honestly, who really cares? It's great for the players and their families to get to go to Hawaii for some tough non-conference competition, but for the amount of effort that goes into making that event happen, is it really worth it? This year, the whole ACC is down. In his final year, Coach K is looking like he can't wait to turn things over to John Shire and ride off into the sunset. The number 1 team in the land is yet again a dominant Gonzaga squad from a one-horse conference in the WCC. Are you as sick of watching major college basketball struggle as I am? That's why you need to watch a non-Power 5 conference tourney this season. If you call yourself a basketball fan, it's worth it. Yeah, the ACC tournament is intense, and so are all the others. It's a life-changing experience and something you won't forget anytime soon. 20,000 fans on their feet at one time is an ethereal feeling, no matter where you are or what you're doing. But college basketball has to still be something besides a brief stepping stone to the NBA. Have you ever experienced a 7,500-seat facility explode when it's packed to the gills? It's a sound that will haunt you in the best possible way until the day you die. Every basketball team has some kind of platitude that preaches family, but these mid-majors are full of young players that have nothing but family to fall back on. A lot of these guys have spent the entires of their lives working to be a part of a college basketball team, and every game means something to them, because it could definitely be their last. College basketball must continue to play for something deeper than the game. College basketball has to keep mattering. And if the big dogs in the Power 5 are going to lose their edge, you better believe someone like Howard will be waiting to embarrass them on national TV. I'm Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
No accidents or stalls in the roadways. Interstates are moving well. Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic volume busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue, problem-free. And New Leicester Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. Mills Gap Road, problem-free. And Cane Creek Road moving well. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 828-333-9517.
At Panera, you can say yes to both of your cravings. We call it You Pick Two. And with over 465 pairings, you'll find a meal sure to satisfy any mood. Are you feeling both fresh and fun? Pick our Fuji apple salad with a new Thai chicken soup. Or maybe you're feeling classic and bold. Pair some creamy mac and cheese with our new Citrus Asian Crunch salad. Pick your perfect pair and order a You Pick Two today. Panera, the familiar made fantastic.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts at my shop, but I just don't have the room. Every time I go in the back to get wiper blades, I trip over a dusty crate of Honda air filters, then bang my head on some GTO radiator hoses. eBay Motors never has that problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's time for I Got Five on It. Jeremy's little experiment here where he started with a $500 bankroll. He's making wagers each and every weekday here in the Sportsocracy, and you've lost big twice.
Minnesota. Thanks, Minnesota.
Yeah, well,
you did okay.
I was talking about singular bets, the national championship game, and then last night you had 100 on Duke to cover the 5 against your Florida State Seminoles, and then you guys pulled the upset.
And did I really lose that? Let's be honest. Did I really lose?
Nah.
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, if you listened to me and took that to betus.com, you did. So today, hubris comes shortly before the fall. So we're going to get back to the basics of what got the bankroll built up in the first place. Got 3 picks for you tonight, 1 in college basketball, 2 in the NBA. I got 25 on it. Virginia is a 3.5-point favorite tonight at Pittsburgh. Am I going to sit here and tell you Virginia's great? No. Am I going to tell you they're better than Pittsburgh? No. But what I will tell you is that Pittsburgh scores the vast majority of their points at the rim. That's about the only thing Virginia does well. And when I saw this number, I was dumbfounded that it wasn't higher. I got 25 on it, the Virginia Cavaliers minus 3.5. I got 50 on it, the Indiana Pacers at the LA Lakers. The over-under in this game is 224. Indiana can't stop anybody. And with no Miles Turner, they only have 1 rim defender, and that's how the Lakers score the majority of their points. So we're going to do the exact opposite of what we did with Pittsburgh, Virginia. I'm going over 224 in the Lakers and Indiana Pacers. I got 50 on it. Finally, I got 50 on it. The Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving and James Harden tonight at the Washington Wizards. I'm not messing with the points here. I'm going to take the extra added incentive of taking Brooklyn in the money line because I think they're going to win this game outright. I don't love them as much without Kevin Durant. However, one of the things that Washington has really struggled with in the last few weeks is defending good ball handlers and good backcourt scorers. That's exactly what Kyrie Irving and James Harden are. Mm-hmm. When I saw this number, I was a little – the number's probably okay. I just think you're on the wrong side of it. I think Brooklyn should be a 1.5-point favorite as opposed to Washington. So I got 50 on it. I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets in the money line over the Washington Wizards.
And all of those take over to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code SPORTSOCRACY and get that 125% deposit bonus when you do so.
Yeah, if anybody went with me on Florida State last night, I still maintain it was the right call.
Right.
But, man, it's just different. It's different in the Tucker Center. I can't tell you why that team plays so well. That arena is so far away from campus. It has never made any sense to me. The average student percentage is like 10%.
Right.
But, man, it's a difficult place to play.
You got a lot of support down there, though. I mean, not just at the campus.
When your football team's this bad, about the only thing you got is basketball season.
This is very true. Speaking of, you mentioned James Harden there. There's a lot of this. What is going to happen with Ben Simmons going on with the Philadelphia 76ers? The latest thing I heard was are they going to hold out for James Harden in return?
Well, they got offered about as much as they're ever going to get, and they weren't even vaguely interested.
Right. Daryl Morey wants way too much.
The Pistons offered Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk, and
a one.
Yeah, but it was a heavily protected one. You're not doing better than that. You're not. No. Jeremy Grant's a borderline all-star. I mean, he's one of those guys that could get in a good year for him, bad year for everybody else, injuries. He's a top 40 player in this league.
Right.
He could certainly help in Philadelphia. If you're wanting more than that, this Ben Simmons thing is going to make Deshaun Watson's holdout look like a short-term issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not getting more than that. Sadiq Bey is a good young player. And from what I've been told, not only did they not accept it, they didn't even listen to it.
And
they heard it and immediately went, nope.
And the Sacramento Kings have apparently wanted to reach out to him with De'Aaron Fox as the centerpiece for a deal, and apparently they're not willing to listen to that either.
If they won't take De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons, this will never get done.
Right.
Ever. Because, first of all, I'd rather have De'Aaron Fox than Ben Simmons. Is not really all that close.
I would agree.
And that's without the personality issues, without the holdout, without the diminished value. I'd rather have De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
If that's true, Daryl Morey, you should pay better attention. Read the room better.
Right. You got to know. You got to know what's the next path. We got the third hour of the program, the uncensored YouTube-only hour, coming up next, and we're going to talk about the first round of Jeremy's 7-round mock draft. Stick with us on the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com. We'll see you back here on ESPN Asheville tomorrow at 3.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Strong cold front headed our way, bringing with it colder air and snow for the end of the week. Clouds increasing tonight, rain expected late. Temperatures drop down into the upper 30s. Scattered mainly morning rain showers for tomorrow. Late day snow showers possible with highs right around or just over 40. A little bit better chance of snow showers Thursday night and Friday. Cold on Friday, upper 20s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
No accidents or stalls in the roadways. Interstates are moving well. Captain Jeff Bullen Bridge, traffic volume busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue, problem-free. And New Leicester Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. Mills Gap Road, problem-free. And Cane Creek Road moving well. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. We are here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different, wickedweedgear.com as well. You can get a sweet little hat like I got right here. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different, and the third uncensored hour of the program. Here we're Jeremy, you're unveiling the first round of the 7-round mock draft. You have completed the 7-round mock draft, correct?
I have, and you know, I had to audible because I didn't think about the fact of the draft order changes as playoff games happen.
Right.
So it's done, and I'm hoping that nothing happens where, Cincinnati loses, and I don't have them forecast to do that, and then I have to undo everything. Because that can be a bit of a bitch. But it is done. This is the first round. Next week we'll be going team by team. Once we get to the back four, the fun thing of drafts is that I don't do any trades until April. There's no point in forecast, and I see people do this for clickbait all the time. There's no point in forecasting that because there's no team that is that in love with a player right now that I should be forecasting that.
Right.
This is more filling holes. What would I want to see? Mel Kiper dropped his this morning, and that was kind of the impetus for this. I'm going to piggyback on Mel. So there's that. Mel's my hero. I love Mel.
Right.
But there were a couple things in his mock draft that were stupid.
Well, you got a few teams with multiple first-round draft picks here. You got big opportunities to try to turn things around. You got Philadelphia Eagles with 3 of them. You got the Giants with 2. You got the New York Jets.
I would wager because we're going to do these 8 picks at a time. So there are 4 graphics. You'll see 8 picks at a time. I would wager when we get to the 3rd one, there will be something for the Philadelphia Eagles that makes people go,
"Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?"
Yeah, because it's not what you expect.
Oh. It's got some spices in it.
It's a little spicy.
All right. Well, let's get into it. The first 8 of the 7-round mock draft.
If you've watched this show for any period of time, you already know who number 1 is. It's Evan Neal out of Alabama.
Yep.
I firmly believe he's going to end up going number one because Jacksonville got the number one pick. You took a quarterback last year. I full well believe that Jacksonville is going to hire an offensive coach. What does that tell you? One of your biggest impediments was that you could not protect Trevor Lawrence. This is not a good draft for linemen. Evan Neal, look, and I'm not sitting here telling you I love him. I think he projects better as a right tackle in the NFL. Can he play left? Yeah. Yeah, he can. I don't know that he'll ever be an elite left tackle. He's the best tackle in this draft, and it's not really all that close. So, to me, you get Jacksonville at 1. The most important thing is protecting your franchise asset, building up what I think will be Byron Leftwich as your head coach. It makes all the sense in the world to me. I haven't seen but one other person do it, and I fully believe the further down the rabbit hole we get, the more likely it becomes.
Okay. At number 2, you got the Detroit Lions.
This is another one that, and we're picking nits here, splitting hairs. I am taking Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay, so sticking with the local kid.
And the best way that I can explain this is that it is the way that I heard a director of college scouting say this. There is no shot that Aiden Hutchinson is a bust. None. There is no way he is anything worse than a stand-up double.
Okay.
There is a possibility that Kayvon Thibodeau's bust. Okay. I have seen edge rushers like this that are height, weight, speed guys. They look like physical freaks of nature. I also know Brad Holmes reasonably well. I have some connection to the LA side. You know, not going to name drop. Just know some people that know Brad Holmes.
Right.
He's not going to swing for the fences. This is a guy that he knows will be a starter on this team for 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's a local product. And I'm not saying that the marketing side of this matters. He fits the nature of that team. I fully believe he's going to come into the draft process with Detroit and blow them away. Because he is that blue-collar, lunch pail kind of player that Dan Campbell's going to fall in love with.
They choose kneecaps, yeah.
And he just fits that team really, really well.
Okay.
Which leaves the Houston Texans at 3 to go, hey, the consensus number 1 player in the draft.
Yeah.
And we're going to take him at 3.
Why not? Kayvon Thibodeau.
There is a little bit of him that makes me nervous.
Okay.
Because he played in Pac-12. And the thing that terrifies me about Kayvon Thibodeau, there will be 2-quarter stretches where you forget he's on the field. I mean, he's completely irrelevant.
Right.
Now, when he brings it, he's Khalil Mack level good. His ability to beat tackles one-on-one is – I haven't had many pass rushers that I've rated ahead of him. I had Khalil Mack ahead of him based off one tape at Ohio State because he eviscerated Ohio State as clearly the best player on the field. I've never seen Kayvon Thibodeau do that, but the good is really good. The good's so good that he's not falling past 4.
Right.
The floor for Kayvon Thibodeau is the Jets at 4. He will not get any lower than that.
Right.
I feel very, very sure of that. But I think there are going to be things that make people nervous. There's some personality, and I don't know the kid at all. This is coming from people that have interacted with him. There are some personality traits about him that are going to rub some teams the wrong way. Houston may be one of them. If you told me Kayvon Thibodeau was sitting there at 4 to the Jets, I will not be shocked.
And
I know that sounds crazy. I will not be shocked.
And you would scoop him up in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Put him on the opposite side of Carl Lawson, and you just roll. Roll. I mean, Rob Salah wants to get pressure with 4. And that's one of the things that he's been missing.
So Kayvon Thibodeau, to you, there is a small chance that he could bust out.
I would say 25%. There's probably a 25% bust rate with Kayvon Thibodeau.
That seems high, but
no.
Okay.
There are guys that go in the first round that have a 60% bust rate. So Aiden Hutchinson has, and I just said there's virtually no shot that he busts.
Yeah.
He has a 10% bust potential.
All right.
Anybody can be a bust in the wrong scenario.
This is very true. So Kayvon Thibodeau goes to the Texans at number 3. Then you got the Jets with their first of 2 top 10 picks.
And this is not going to look exactly how it looks when you see other people do it. I have Kyle Hamilton, linebacker from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a safety in the NFL. I don't. And look, you'll hear people say, oh, he can do the center field rangy, blah, 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 blah. He can. he's not going to run a stupid time. And there are a lot of teams that just believe a safety can't be 6'4", and Kyle Hamilton is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I can also tell you is, when did Rob Salah's defense get really good? When Fred Warner showed up in San Francisco. Kyle Hamilton could be Fred Warner on steroids.
Okay.
Kyle Hamilton could be Ray Lewis. And I firmly mean that.
Wow.
Him as a hybrid joker, whatever you want to call that position, linebacker in the NFL.
Right.
He could be Ray Lewis good. He could be Ray Lewis in the box. Troy Polamalu over the top. I don't think he's ever going to be a great deep center fielder, but I think he can interchange between playing safety, playing corner, and even play slot corner and linebacker. He makes your defense very multiple. He's a guy that somebody like Rob Salah is just going to fall in love with.
Now, do you think that everybody in the league will look at him and play him as a linebacker, or just Rob Salah?
No,
because he's been doing that.
I think Rob Salah will look at this and go, that is exactly what we were trying to do with Jamie and Sherwood. That is exactly what we were trying to do with Hamza Nasruddin. And I think they both have a role on this team. Kyle Hamilton's just I bought it at Amazon, and it was ready-made when it got here.
Right, he's the steak.
Of that.
He's the steak, and then those other guys you mentioned are the bologna.
Yeah, I mean, and they're special teams pieces. You're seeing more of this. The Raiders did it with Divine Satan, and it's becoming more and more popular. And he's the best version of this I've ever seen. He is a better hitting version of Isaiah Simmons. I don't think he's as fast as Isaiah Simmons, and I don't think he's as fast as Zaven Collins and some of these other, Jeremy Chin, Kyle Duggar kind of converted safeties. But I think he's a much better tackler. There's not a lot of holes in this kid's game. He has the lowest bust rate to me. He's 5%. Because I don't know how you can screw him up.
Right.
Unless you try to play him as a one high safety. And then, even then, I think he's a top 10 in the league. I think he would be a top 10 in the league single high safety. So there's no bust in here.
Yeah, lots of possibilities with Kyle Hamilton. Going to the Jets at number 4. At number 5, you got the Giants up. This is where some people would say, okay, it's time to take a quarterback. Daniel Jones ain't the answer. You need to search for a quarterback, but that offensive line's god-awful.
And because I think they're going to try to find the fix for quarterback other places. So at 5, I have them taking another guy that I see virtually no bust in, Ike Mekwonu from NC State. This is a kid that the further down the rabbit hole of the draft process we get, the more unbelievable the hype on him is going to get. Here is the problem with him, and I'm going to keep saying this until I'm blue in the face. There are 3 positions you can play him at. I think he's a 10-time Pro Bowler at guard. I think he could be a 4 to 5-time Pro Bowler at right tackle. I could see him out of the league in 3 years at left tackle. But he was so good at NC State. Okay. Watch him against legitimate NFL talent at left tackle, and then tell me that. Because I've already done it, and he got absolutely abused. He is not a left tackle. He plays in a phone booth. He is not a great he's not a great pull tackle. Now, watching the film, I think he'd be a great pull guard because he's just a barrel of a human.
Yes, he is.
And I think you put him in the middle of this line with Will Hernandez and the player that we're going to get to in a minute, and now Saquon Barkley becomes a thing. Because now I could argue you have the best interior offensive line in the NFL, and that almost gives you a third first-round pick in Saquon Barkley because he's been borderline worthless.
Right.
I mean, he plays 6 games a year. He averages 3 yards a carry. So let's say you ride with Daniel Jones. How do you benefit him the most? Give him a run game. Daniel Jones is an athletic kid. You can do all kinds. And look, I know this is going to sound weird when I say it. I won't be shocked if somebody like Greg Roman gets this job. And they look at him and go, you know what? This is a mobile quarterback that we're invested in. And you can figure it out. You figured it out with Lamar Jackson. Daniel Jones is a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson is. He's just not nearly as fast. But he's very athletic, and I think you can do some things like that.
Okay.
And I think there's an ultimate 2-step process, and Ike Mekwonu is the first step.
At number 6, this is where the Carolina Panthers slot in the 2022 first round.
If you've watched any of these, you already know what name I'm getting ready to say.
Charles.
And if they don't do it, I'm going to riot.
Charles Cross, the tackle out of Mississippi State.
This is a bad draft for offensive linemen. I'm going to say that a billion times because there is a huge drop-off after the ones that go in the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
There are other guys that will have first-round-ish grades, and you'll see several of them at the back end of the first round. I just don't know that they can come in and do what Carolina needs them to do. Carolina needs a left tackle.
Yes.
Left tackle. No doubt. Slide him in, roll. And that's what Charles Cross is.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Cross is a guy that can come in day one. Now, are there some deficiencies in his game? Yes. Is there a little bit of lean? Are there times that, look at what was around him. Look at the system he played in. I can literally just eschew the vast majority of it and go, you're still leaps and bounds better than any tackle in this draft, not named Evan Neal. And if you're Carolina, is it a little bit of a reach? Probably. I think I have Charles Cross at 11 overall. What else are you going to do? You going to take another quarterback?
No.
I keep seeing people do that in mock drafts. Like, do you realize how stupid that is, right? You got $18 million committed to Sam Darnold. There is not a quarterback that is no doubt better than Sam Darnold in this draft. You will also notice that there are no quarterbacks in the top 8. And there's a very simple reason for that.
Adam Black said in the comments he would like for you to explain again. What makes a guy a left tackle as opposed to a right tackle? Is it just more agility? Is it length? What is it?
Arm length is a very big – people talk about the underwear Olympics with the combine. Arm length is – I'm not going to say it's a no-doubter. There have been some short-armed left tackles. Not many of them. Because if you've got a tackle that has short arms and you've got the speed rusher that comes on that side, they never have running back help with a right-handed quarterback. So if you have on the right side, like Ike McQuana, he's going to have short arms.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, he's going to have short arms. If you put him on the right side, you can check with a back. You can have a tight end on that side. Predominantly, if you put a tight end on the left side, it makes it really kind of difficult for a quarterback to – it changes the reads and things like that. It's all just kind of a discipline of the game kind of thing.
But how much of an outlier is a guy like Rashawn Slater? Rashawn Slater, who just was just an All-Pro.
Mm-hmm. He had short arms.
Yeah, he had short arms, but a lot of the experts are talking about. Well, it's more than long arms. It's your technique. It's all the things that you can learn. So
it is. But
why do you
sit here and I could ramble on about the technique things for an hour, and I would hope by the time I was done, you woke back up. The basic thing is left tackles are kind of like porn. I can't describe it to you. I could, but you wouldn't want to hear it.
Right.
But I know one when I see one.
Okay.
And look, Rashawn Slater, he's a total outlier. And I think he fits in that offense. I think the fact that they've got such an experienced line around him helped. And the fact that they're not asking him to open running lanes on the left side for Austin Eckler. That is a sleight of hand magic offense. I could argue there's not another team in the NFL that Rashawn Slater would have been an all-pro level tackle, especially not as a rookie. Am I sliding him? No. He was a great pick, and I said it the minute they did it. I just thought he would fit better for 32 teams as a right tackle than he would as a left.
Right.
And there are some guys like that.
Well,
historically, DeBrickashaw Ferguson had shorter arms for a lot. I mean, DeBrick was 6'7", and I think he had like the same length arms that I do. Now, I have long arms for a dude that's 6'4", but it's not an end-all, be-all. But if I start seeing things technique-wise and tape-wise that make me think, okay, you've been better on the right side, and then you come in with short arms or tiny hands, then I go, okay, you're a tackle.
Well, the Carolina Panthers fan base is all up in arms last week, and Matt Rule was talking about, we saw Rashawn Slater as a guard and everything. Oh, this shows he's in over his skis and he doesn't know what he's doing, evaluating talent in his league.
And that shows that people hear things and they don't really know what they're talking about, and then they just run their fucking mouth, which drives me nuts.
Right.
Because he's right. In Carolina's system, Rashawn Slater, you'd have hated it.
Yeah.
You would have absolutely hated it. He would have been an unbelievable guard. And this year, he would have had a dog water tackle beside him, and it would have looked bad. You want me to tell you how I know that? Look at Elijah Vera Tucker's tape. There are times pulling in his own scheme that Elijah Vera Tucker looked like one of the 5 best guards in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There were times that he got absolutely fucking freight trained because there was some cycle of Morgan Moses or George Fant or for 15 seconds Mekhi Becton next to him, and it just didn't go well.
Mm-hmm. At number 7... this is where the New York Giants come in with their second pick of the draft.
And I can't get away from this.
I can't
get away from them doing this.
After taking Ike Mekwonu at number 5, Tyler Linderbaum The center out of Iowa.
I'm
best
drunk on this kid.
Center prospect ever, right?
Yeah. He's the best one for me.
Yeah.
And I can tell you there's a lot of people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have, that he's their highest rated center. He does not have a flaw. He is built to be an NFL center. There was a tape, and I believe I've referenced this one time before. There was a tape in the bowl game. All right, they played Kentucky in the bowl game. The Citrus Bowl, Outback Bowl, one of those. It was in Florida. That's all I can really remember. It was a tight end screen, something that is a hallmark of the Iowa offense. He beat the tight end of the end zone. It was a 45-yard touchdown.
Wow.
Tyler Linderbaum beat the tight end of the end zone and never actually hit anybody. He hit somebody just solely because he could at about the 2.
Right.
Because there's nobody there. But he outran a tight end that will get drafted in this draft.
That's impressive.
He is, I mean, who you want to compare him to? Alex Mack, Kevin Mawai. He equates very close to Kevin Mawai. There's just not a flaw. He's going to be a great pass blocker. He's going to be a great run blocker. He's insanely intelligent. You want to make all 4 of your offensive linemen better? Then draft that kid. And I'm looking at Andrew Thomas, who had a whole slew of disadvantages this year and was still good.
Yeah.
And now you put this kid making the line calls. You put Aquano on the right side as a guard or as a tackle, leading the run game, and now you're looking at an offensive line with Will Hernandez, who is now propped up by all the talent around him, and now you have something.
Yeah.
Now you've got a line that can legitimately make Saquon Barkley what we think he can be.
According to PFF, Andrew Thomas was the only decent lineman that they had. I think he had like a 73 score or something like that. Everybody else was down in the 50s.
Adam Black asked in the comments, is a center reaching the top 10? Every other time I've ever done this, yes. Here, no.
No.
But you got to understand the metric of what I'm looking at with the Giants. Look how much draft capital they have invested between Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Will Hernandez, Andrew Thomas. These 2 guys tie all of that together. And now the offense can be prodigious. Now you can lead with the running game, play action pass. I would love to see a derivative of the Arthur Smith tree that runs that run first. We do everything off play action kind of offense in New York with Saquon, because he is supremely talented. He's had dog shit around him. And so now you take these 2 first-round picks. This is what good teams do. When you have an extra pick like this, you have to make it benefit other things. We always talk about this with quarterbacks. We never talk about it with running backs. We never talk about it with wide receivers. Defensively, we never talk about it with interior linemen and interior linebackers, with corners and edge rushers. It's the beauty of football. It's all a synergy. And so you take these 2 picks and you basically just added 5 higher-level players. As opposed to going out in free agency to fix your fuck-ups, you can do this, and it will fix all 3 of them. I hope that made sense and was not unbelievably rambling.
That is a whole lot of first-round capital that they will have tied up in all of those guys, and I agree with you. I think that's the path they should go down. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons.
This is going to be one that people are going to go, oi.
Drake London, a wide receiver out of USC.
I don't know that I'm breaking anything here, but Calvin Ridley's not going to be a Falcon.
Really?
No, he's not going to be a Falcon. He will not be back in Atlanta. They are both ready for a parting of ways.
Huh.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he has 2 high-level suitors that have a shitload of draft capital. And one of them is my team.
Are you going to go after Calvin Ridley?
The Jets have 4 picks in the top 40, 4 picks in the top 38, something like that. The problem is that they've already done this with rookies. All right, Philadelphia, by the way, is in the same exact boat of what I'm getting ready to say. They've already done this with rookies. All right, now they want vet guys that now they need the things to turn this into a competitor, into a contender. Calvin Ridley wants out of Atlanta. I do not know what happened. I cannot answer that question. I don't know. Did something go with his family? I don't know. I've heard a lot of speculation. He wants out of Atlanta. For whatever reason, the Arthur Smith thing never clicked, and he wants out. And the 2 high-level contenders from him that I have heard are both teams that wear green and have a fuckload of draft capital. The Jets and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
The Eagles feel like they don't have that guy. Like they really like Devontae Smith, but they're kind of in the same boat I was with him last year. I think he's better suited as a 2 or a 1B. With Calvin Ridley, he can be that. Calvin Ridley's a top 10 receiver in this league. He's not just a fantasy accumulator. He's a very, very good player.
Right.
So,
but you don't have the quarterback in Philadelphia to get him the ball.
Correct.
We're getting there.
Just give it a minute.
We're getting there.
Drake London adds. I want you to think about what I'm going to say. All right, you've already got Cordero Patterson that's the matchup nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's why he was so good. It's not because he's an overly good running back. It's because he's a matchup nightmare because you know he can catch the ball. Playing running back, the fact he can't run a route doesn't matter. You've got Kyle Pitts, who is a matchup nightmare. And now you're going to put a 6'5", 4'4", 5'4", kind of guy on the other side who, oh, yeah, by the way, played on USC's basketball team. Dude's got a 42-inch vert. Good luck. And you add that to Russell Gage and whatever they get out of Calvin Ridley, and now you're resetting the decks. Is this a Matt Ryan thing? A little bit, because Matt Ryan's going to be there again. Matt Ryan will be back in Atlanta next year. There's just no way around it. So you add these pieces. This makes you more competitive for next year. They were more competitive this year. They don't get any credit for that. But people will see that and go, well, but why do they not? Because there's nobody there that's going to be an impact immediately. George Karlaftis, yeah, he's a good pass rusher. He'll be the only pass rusher on the team. They could go, go free agency, but it's never been a real attractive place to free agent. Right. So, to me, Drake London's the guy that's going to shoot up boards. Mel Kiper, by the way, had him at 10, and I was pissed. Because I've had Drake London in the top 10, both iterations I've done of this, and I thought that was going to be one of my spicy. Nope. Mel shit in my cornflakes. Thanks, Mel.
All right, let's
hold on. Alexander asked a question. If this thing happens with Deshaun Watson and they end up with the second pick, wait, I don't understand what you're asking me here. Who would they pick between those two guys? I don't understand. If you're asking if Houston wound up with an extra pick, they would probably take both of those. All right, so I'm going to assume that's what he was asking me. So let me go back to the board, and let's say Houston got 5 and 7. All right, so Houston taking Kayvon Thibodeau at 3. I would say they would probably take – I'm going to say they might take Charles Cross ahead of the Panthers at 5. And at 7, I can't see that they wouldn't take Derek Stingley Jr. Now that you have a third top 10 pick, you can be a little risky, and Derek Stingley is more risky than people think. He would be one of the two. I just don't know which one. And then the other pick, probably Charles Cross. Maybe Ekwonu. They might take Ekwonu. Put him on the other side, helps you run. I don't know who's going to be running because I don't really believe in Rex Burkhead, but, that would be off the top of my head. That would be my answer.
All right. Let's get into the end of the next 8. Number 9, the Denver Broncos.
George Karlaftis. This is a guy I like a lot. I know the Jets like him a lot. He will not last past 10. If he gets to 10, he may not last that long. He might be the pick at 4. He's a high motor guy.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a little bit of Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't see him do anything that makes me go, Jesus, that's just a high-level, next-level kind of pass rush move.
Right.
No, he just never stops. Led the nation in tackles for loss this year on a defense that had nothing else. It's a guy I really like. I think you put him on the other side of Chubb. I think he can stand up. I think it's more likely that you see a kind of a hybrid front if it's Dan Quinn, where now he can play hand in the dirt, he can play standing up. He's a very alluring piece for Denver. And with the extra draft capital they got in Von Miller, I believe that is another team that will get a quarterback from an outside source. So they can take – I'm not going to say he's the best player on the board. I believe he's the best player on the board. But he also fits that Denver scheme quite nicely.
Now, this the next pick here for your New York Jets, it's kind of a head-scratcher for me because
Shouldn't be.
I thought for the longest time you were on Derek Stingley.
Until I went back and watched the tape.
Okay.
The bad thing about Derek Stingley, he has regressed every single time I've seen him on the field. And he's got injury issues for days. One of the spiciest things you're going to hear me say, Derek Stingley's not a top 10 pick.
Okay.
The good's very good, but the problem is I've seen this corner before. His name was D. Milner.
Bad.
Well, yeah, he can't stay healthy.
Right.
I don't give a damn how good you are.
Right.
If you can't stay on the field, I don't care how good you are. And Stingley is the freshman tape. If he could have come out as a 19-year-old freshman, he'd been a top 5 pick, no doubt. And people would have been comparing him to Darrelle Revis and Deion Sanders. Problem is, the last 2 years haven't been good. He's been hurt.
Yep.
And the more you go down the rabbit hole of watching this, he was really good with Kerry Vincent and a slew of other guys that wound up getting drafted. Then he goes out there by himself, and I don't see that same player that I once saw. Now, is a lot of it that teams just shied away from him? Yeah, and there's a reason for that because he is still talented.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not telling you he's going to fall into the 4th round. I don't think a team's going to take a top 10 pick.
All right,
and on him. My number, and tomorrow we'll be doing another top 13 list with corners. My number 1 corner is Sauce Gardner, and it's not even fucking close.
Okay.
I mean, it's not even close. I do not know why this kid doesn't get more praise than he does. In all the time he played at Cincinnati, he allowed as many touchdowns as I did.
Mm-hmm. I think you just said it. That's why he doesn't get the respect, because he came from Cincinnati.
And that's stupid. Darrelle Revis played at Pittsburgh.
Oh, I get it.
So, and that's one of the things about corners that's kind of comical to me, is that people look at corners and go, oh, it's so much more impressive that you stayed in front of at Alabama and you were up against. I got news for you. If you watch tape and you see Derek Stingley is a better player than Ahmad Sauce Gardner, you're not very good at this. And I mean that. And if the Jets take Derek Stingley at 4, I'm going to be pissed. I don't necessarily think the Jets are going to take a corner at all. Everything I have heard, they are very happy with Bryce Hall and Jason Pennick and Michael Carter and the slew of guys they drafted last year. I'll believe that when I see it,
yeah.
But I've heard it enough. I think if they do, it's going to be a big physical corner that can be a 1, slide Bryce Hall to 2, and Ahmad Gardner is that guy. Ahmad Gardner comes in immediately and is your 1 on damn near every team in the league.
All right, Sauce Gardner at 10 to the New York Jets, and then the Washington football team at 11. This is where you got Derek Stingley Jr. coming off the board, the cornerback out of LSU.
And that's the alternative of this. That could ultimately be the best pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If you take away the med concerns, I can kind of sweep everything else under the rug, and I've seen the good of him be unbelievably good. His freshman tape is as good as you'll ever see a corner. Ever. I don't care if you do this for the next 50 years. You'll never see a corner that was better than that. They do have, and I like the St. Juste thing. I've always said St. Juste is a safety in the right scheme.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems that Washington had last year, the second corner got their brains beat out. Stingley at worst, at absolute worst, becomes the best slot corner in the league.
Yeah.
That to me, that's his floor. And you've got Fuller and you've got St. Juste, who I do still believe in, and I think he can do things. Derek Stingley can be a shutdown guy. And there comes a point where you have to look at this team and go, Washington underachieved. And you're going to see a bunch of people peg quarterback here. I don't. I peg Jimmy Garoppolo in Washington.
Mm-hmm. So
it's one of those things, and I'll say it the same way I said it the first time I said it. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And so now I'm just deadlocked into Jimmy Garoppolo. And then it becomes a thing of, all right, you're in this tight window with Garoppolo because he's not signed forever. Pretty good value currently. So what do you add? Are you going to add a raw project piece for 2 years from now? That doesn't make any sense. Because you're going to have to give up the capital, so you have to come away with an impact player. That is what Derek Stingley Jr. is. Now, if the injury thing flares up, then yeah, that you could look back and go, oh, that was stupid. That was a bust. You should have. All right, well, what else are you going to do? You going to add a receiver? I can get down with that. I can understand wanting a receiver on the other side. There's not really a lineman here that you can feel super good about in that scheme. So it almost becomes like a sum of all parts. Rob Johnson said, I don't know how I feel about Stingley to Washington. I don't disagrry with you. The only thing is that I'm playing this out under the pretense that you think you're a contender, because I'll be honest with you, with Jimmy Garoppolo, they are. I'm going to say, second spicy thing I'll say inside the top 13. With Washington, if they trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, they're better than the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
And the Philadelphia Eagles. Ta-da.
I guess you're operating on the assumption here that George Payton's going to get Kirk Cousins in Denver.
Yes.
It's the only thing that would make this next pick make sense. Number 12, the Minnesota Vikings. This is your first quarterback off the board. It's Sam Howell from North Carolina.
What do new GMs do? Draft their own guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Howell is going to be a ridiculous value for somebody. Where can you give him the best potential to succeed? When you have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Irv Smith and Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison and Tyler Conklin and KJ Osborne. Do you kind of see the point I'm making here?
Yeah, you give him all the weapons that he had last year at Carolina. Or all the spots
2 years ago.
Or,
you give him all the things he had a year ago.
Yes.
When he would have been a no-doubt top 10 pick.
Yes.
All of the knocks on him come with absolutely nothing around him. Or new guys that are learning positions, all this bullshit.
Except for Josh Downs. That's the only one.
He's the most ready to play right now. This is going to be a whole new regime. I could see a path that this is going to be a weird hire because I've heard too many names. It's one of my favorite picks. You get the value for Kirk Cousins. You get out from underneath the contract. You're going to have a year where the dead cap hit's going to suck. Be honest with yourself. Kirk Cousins just played as well as he possibly could.
Yes.
What are you going to put around him that's going to make you a contender? Understanding that this is a new regime, not attached to Kirk Cousins. George Payton is attached to Kirk Cousins and will probably overpay you for him.
Will you go upgrade the defense, or will you move on to a new era?
What piece you going to add right here that upgrades the defense? No doubt right now. And you're paying Kirk Cousins $40 million to play quarterback.
I mean, you could take an edge rusher.
And that's going to make I'll tell you another thing. Danielle Hunter probably never plays another down with the Minnesota Vikings. I could see them trading him as well because he would have value. And so if you do that, the defense is going to be a work in progress. So this is going to be something that you're doing. And does that put a young quarterback in a bad position? Maybe. Maybe it does.
Yep.
But you've got the weapons around him that can really pull out the value.
Number 13, we got the Cleveland Browns on the clock. David Ojabo from Michigan.
I'm not sure Jadeveon Clowney's going to be back in Cleveland. I know he kind of wants to be. There's a potential shifting of the tides in Cleveland that I can't really figure out what they're going to do. I'm looking at that team now. What do they do well? They run the ball. The line's set. You got the running backs. There's no quarterback that's going to start here over Baker Mayfield immediately. I love the people that talk about Baker going somewhere else because, okay, how are you going to replace him? Case Keenum, if you're fine with that, then okay, I kind of get that. If you're not okay with that, well, then you're fickle-fingered. So I look at Ojabo and give just another piece of that defense. That's a kid that came out of freaking nowhere. He had done nothing at Michigan, and he was a freak of nature. I could also see that being Nakobe Dean. I could see it being a slew of people. Cleveland, of all 32 teams, they're probably the team I have the least of a feel of what it is that they're going to do. I feel like they're going to go very run heavy, play very good defense, and David Ojabo is the best defensive player on the board.
At number 14, this is where the Baltimore Ravens slot in. Stephen Tao, pay attention here because you're going to get defensive tackle if it's up to Jeremy Greene, DeMarvin Leal from Texas A&M.
And maybe this is once I heard it, I couldn't get it out of my head. The high side for DeMarvin Leal is Calais Campbell. It's exactly what his high side is. So you send him to Baltimore as a guy that can get interior pressure, he can get edge pressure, he's multiple, he can do all kinds of things. Where does he fit the best? What does Baltimore do better than any team in the league? They take the best talent on the board.
Yep.
DeMarvin Leal's best talent on the board. I keep seeing him fall into the 20s because, he doesn't have a position. Yeah, that's why Calais Campbell fell in the second round. And a smart team is going to see that and go, hey, that's a 22-year-old version of it. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Yeah. All right, we got back-to-back picks at 15 and 16 for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nothing spicy here. You got to improve that defense because it sucks. So what do? You draft the best linebacker.
Yep.
Nakobe Dean, I'm just going to tell you, and this is, you may not hear this from anybody but me. There was a play in the national title game. It's at the 1-yard line. And I can't remember who the player was. It just went out of my head. Blown coverage, should have been a touchdown for Alabama. Nakobe Dean loses his shit. I mean, just loses his shit. He's in his face, like telling him where he got it wrong, diagnosing the play. That is the minute that I went, Nakobe Dean will go top 15 in this draft, I promise. Because people like me see that and go, oh, boy, that's what I love, guys that love football. And Nakobe Dean's one of them. And he's a gym rat. I've heard that from every person that's ever talked about him. First guy in, last guy out.
Yep.
And he fits. To me, he's the centerpiece of that defense for 10 years.
And then at number 16, you got him taking Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson.
He's the hardest evaluation in this class because there's tape with him where I think he's lost as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's tape where he looks like he could be Darrelle Revis.
Yep.
And I can't figure out where the line is. He's the number one guy I want to see you diagram on the board. I'm telling you right now, if I was doing the scouting meeting on Andrew Booth, it's all I don't want to hear you say a fucking word.
Show me what you got to do on this play.
I don't hear you say one word.
Yeah.
Take this, diagnose that. I'm going to watch you do it 5 times, and I'm going to figure out if your play is inconsistent because you freelance too much, or if your play was inconsistent because Dabo let you freelance too much. If I put you on the opposite side of Darius Slay, which is what I would do in this scenario, now you're a 2. Now those high-level ball hockey plays, teams are going to attack you, and I know that. You're good enough playing the ball that you could be a very valuable 2. That's why I would have him here ahead of Kyer Elam or Trent McDuffie, Roger McCreary, because all those guys can be bottom end 1s. I think Andrew Booth's best scenario is a high level 2, but I think he can be one of the best ones in the league.
All right, in the back half of the first round here.
This is where you see the spicy.
Number 17, you got the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers picking at number 17, and okay. You got to stop the run. You got to figure out how to stop the run. Jordan Davis is a good way to do it.
It's been my favorite pick in this entire draft. I've already beaten it to death. He's a run stopper. He's not a 3-down player, but with the Chargers, you don't need him to be. You put him in the middle of the defense, he makes Kenneth Murray better because he's a block eater that gets Kenneth Murray in the right position. This is the Giants all over again. This is a player that can make 2 of your former high-level draft picks better than they have been, and it adds a level. I love Jordan Davis to the Chargers.
Filling slot at 18 with the New Orleans Saints. They need a weapon, Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams is not going to fall that much. I think he'll be ready for the beginning of the year. ACL injuries are not they're not the season, 1 calendar month ender that they used to be. Jameson Williams is a high-end deep threat. I love him on the other side of Michael Thomas, who I do think will be back, by the way. You'll hear a lot about him going somewhere else. I don't buy it. You don't have any weapons, and now you're going to get rid of the one weapon you do have? That doesn't make any sense. That's a team that's going to be looking for bargain basement options, and I think Jameson Williams can come in and play right away.
Yeah, plus getting rid of that contract is going to be tough for New Orleans to do.
That's the other part. Who's going to trade for him again?
Because he makes $30 million a year. Not quite, but close.
22.
Number 19, the Philadelphia Eagles. Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. There it is.
You remember that thing where I said, the Eagles are going to do something and people are going to tell me I'm out of my mind?
There it is.
Okay. This is one of those things that's kind of like when women say, well, I really don't want him, but so big. When you tell me you believe in Jalen Hurts, cool. I don't believe you. I've never believed you. And this is the way that you can take what Howie Roseman just said, that he earned another year as a starter, and you can make that not a lie. Because Jalen Hurts would go in as the starter, and Malik Willis would be the backup. Because Malik Willis does not need to see a field for 1 calendar year. Straight up. I don't like him as much as other people do. Mel has him as the number one quarterback in this class. I don't buy it. Don't buy it. I've never bought it. He holds the ball too long. I can give you a whole slew of things that he does amiss.
Right.
However, he can be Jalen Hurts with an arm.
Yeah.
So you build this whole offense for Jalen Hurts in the hopes that it works. We're going to give it the old college try. Let's to the playoffs. Jalen's our guy. Cool. When it goes awry, and it will. I have him on steroids. That's been sitting here learning how to be a pro from him because I like Jalen Hurts. I don't like him as a quarterback. I like him as a pro. He is one of those guys that works his ass off. That's the reason he's held on to a starting job this long. He just has an arm deficiency. His arm's not good enough to be an NFL starting quarterback. Malik Willis is. I need you to weight room, film room, just bury yourself in learning to play this position. That's what I need. And the best place you can do that is Philadelphia.
Yeah. Do you have to have a quarterback whisperer to unlock him, or do you think he has the potential regardless?
I think you need a guy that – I think you need a guy.
Okay.
And who that's going to be, I don't know.
All right.
I really don't. But I don't think Sirianni's long for Philadelphia. So you can hire a coach that really likes Malik Willis.
Probably right about that. The Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20, back-to-back quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett staying in town.
They got
little tiny hands.
They got little baby hands. That's why he's going to fall here. You'll see people put him in the top 5. I laugh at that. I laugh at that a lot. Because one of the things that you will routinely see in the scouting community, okay, you're one of the oldest players on the field. Why is that the only time you had first-round tape? He was a 4th-round quarterback a year ago.
Yep.
So he's not going to go as high as people think. I think he is pro-ready. I do like him in Pittsburgh with the weapons, and I think he could slide in as the starter immediately. If not, let's say they go get Aaron Rodgers or some vet quarterback. He can sit behind them, learn how to play the position. Will he ever be great? No. But in Pittsburgh, I think he could be very, very good.
The New England Patriots have the number 21 pick, and, man, I like this one. Garrett Wilson.
Of course, because that's what evil Bill Belichick does.
Garrett Wilson to Ohio State and Mac Jones, I think that's a guy he could deal with.
It adds the deep threat. You saw with Kendrick Bourne at times what a lot of people have this misconception that Mac Jones can't throw a ball more than 20 yards down the field.
Not true.
It's not true. So you got to find somebody that can threaten you deep, that opens up the intermediate things. I think I've always said there's something to unlock in N'Keal Harry, and this would be a good way to do it. I like Garrett Wilson more than people think I do. I'm not as high on him as everybody else because he does a lot of continuation things. Well, you know where else that tends to be pretty good? When plays break down. And I could see a lot of that with a run-heavy team. Stephen Tao said if they get Aaron Rodgers, they better not draft a quarterback. I don't disagree with you. I'm just like, and I'm on record as saying Aaron Rodgers is going to finish his career in Green Bay.
Right.
I could see Pittsburgh having a vet, Garoppolo, whoever it is, and Kenny Pickett just sits behind them and learns how to be a pro. Could he come in and play immediately in Pittsburgh? Yeah, he could. I also think they boo-boo kiddied one time with a Pittsburgh quarterback that they got to watch like this, and they didn't take him, and they learned their lesson. Just remember, the ownership group is still the same.
The Oakland Raiders, wow.
The Las Vegas
The
Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders at number 22, Treylon Burks from Arkansas.
Probably my favorite pick in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
God, he would go so nice next to Hunter Renfrow. The only thing that makes me nervous, I think I have him too low. I think he's going to come into the process and kill it because he's faster than you think. He's also very big. He's 6'2.5", 6'3", somewhere in there. One of the only tall outside receivers in this class. You mix him with Derek Carr. You got Brian Edwards on the other side. If they bring back Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, now you've got weapons. And Treylon Burks is a guy that can beat you deep. Is he a deep threat receiver? No, he's a big receiver that happens to be fast. But I think he makes all of the things work. I think he can be a good blocker in the NFL. I haven't seen a lot of that yet. Some of the blocking is it's almost a negative because he's so big that you would expect him to be a better blocker. But I think he fits great with the Raiders, and that'd be a high-value pick at 22.
At number 23, you got the Arizona Cardinals looking for some help in the secondary. Trent McDuffie out of Washington.
This is a kid that I'm not as high on as everybody else. I like Roger McCreary better. But everything I'm seeing, McDuffie's stock is going up, which means there's something I'm missing. When everybody in the industry starts falling in love with a guy at this time, it's one thing if you fell in love with him in September, and it could be level of competition, it could be anything. When scouts start watching tape at this time, and this is when you're falling in love with him, I'm missing it. And it could be that team was so bad. Their tape is brutally bad to watch. And that could be it, is that a lot of people are looking at Jimmy Lake going, maybe he didn't get the most out of you.
Right.
But I look at him on in a secondary with Budda Baker, and the Arizona's got a lot of guys. And Marco Wilson's bad at football. He's talented, but good God, he's undisciplined.
He's frustrating.
And he got torched this year. I think adding a player in – here's the thing. The Cardinals don't have a lot of needs because they don't have a lot of things that are not good, but they have got to improve in that secondary.
So that would move Marco to the 3?
Maybe.
And you still have Byron Murphy as the 1?
Byron Murphy's the one,
yeah.
Byron Murphy's the one. Then you can just kind of interchangeably – even if you play McDuffie in the slot, because he can do that. I think he'd be a very good slot.
All right, the Dallas Cowboys at number 24. You're going to take a linebacker.
What does Jarrah do better than anybody?
Draft linebackers?
Draft names.
Names.
Devin Lloyd's going to be a name.
Mm-hmm.
There is unsettling tape with him for me. He's a really, oddly enough, I'm going to say the same thing about Devin Lloyd that I should have said about Micah Parsons. He's a very good pass rusher for an off-ball linebacker. To me, this is a Leighton Vander Esch replacement. If you tell me I've got the piece, because Micah Parsons is not a linebacker. A lot of people see this and go, but they just drafted Micah Parsons. You know, he's an edge guy. I mean, that's what he's become.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen how good he is doing that. Can he stand up? Yes. The best things he did was as a pass rusher. So now you put Devin Lloyd behind him, who's also a good pass rusher. Your defense gets more multiple.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to lose Dan Quinn. But Devin Lloyd's a guy that needs to go in the top 25. And I look at the Cowboys and go, you need a linebacker because Vander Esch probably won't be back.
Yeah.
And Devin Lloyd is a really high-level one.
All right, and number 25 in the 2022 NFL Draft. Again, this is the first round of the 7-round mock draft.
And we'll be doing team-by-teams next week, so you will see all of the players that your team picked.
At number 25, the Cincinnati Bengals. Is that who you got slotted in here?
Yeah.
Okay. Cincinnati. Oh, my guy, Darian Kennard out of Kentucky.
He's a house.
Yeah, he is.
He's a 345-pound house.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of Darian Kennard and the reason that I have him here instead of the player that goes next to the Dolphins, one of the things that I boo-boo in doing mock drafts is that I take what I see. And this year I'm trying to change that. And when teams tell me who they are and what they think, I have to do something with that. Riley Reif was better this year than I thought he was. Than I thought he could be.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an older guy. Jonah Williams is a guy that they really believe in. I'm not going to say that I do, but they do. Darian Kennard can play every spot on the line. If he comes in and starts at guard, okay.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, he'd be the best guard.
He's better than Jackson Carman right now. He's going to find a spot on this line. No matter what happens, he's going to find a spot. I think ultimately he nests at right tackle. And having Riley Reif, this is a team that's very, very good. And you need to find a player that can make an impact immediately. Darian Kennard can make an impact immediately. And now rolling that into the next pick, I had him taking Trevor Penning the first time I did this. And then I thought to myself, wait, you see Jonah Williams as a left tackle, not as a right, which I do. You see Riley Reif as the solution at right tackle for at least another year or two. So Darian Kennard makes more sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Trevor Penning makes more sense for the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been killed for their inability to draft linemen. No. They've drafted really good linemen. The problem is they're playing all of them out of position. Penning would slot in at left tackle in the way that my brain works. He slots in at left tackle. Liam Eichenberg slides in at right. You move Austin Jackson to guard. You got to get Jesse Davis out of this lineup. That's the biggest thing. Trevor Penning does that. I think he can slide in at left tackle. He's also a house. He's 6'7" and a whole bunch of bills. So I think he can start immediately. Probably would be better off if he started at right tackle. And the Dolphins did like a lot that they saw out of Liam Eichenberg. So if they want him on the left and Penning on the right, that can work.
Speaking of the Bills, you're going to give them another weapon here. Chris Olave, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, huh?
Yeah. Hey, you remember when I did that thing that I hate doing where I compare players to other players?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who I compared Chris Olave to? It's Emmanuel Sanders.
Ah.
Hey, yeah, he's been pretty good in that offense, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You put him on the other side of Stephon Diggs. The Bills are another one of those teams. They don't have there's not a lot of holes. You got a lot of older guys. I think there's going to be some churn on the roster. I don't look for Mario Addison and guys like that to be back. But you've got, just from a pass rusher standpoint, you've got Boogie Basham, A.J. Epinesa, and Gregory Rousseau that you've drafted within the last 2 years. And that ain't the only position that they are that way with. Would it be nice if there was another corner there? Yeah, because I've kind of seen a weakness without Tre'Davious White.
Mm-hmm.
But there's really not one there that fits that scheme. And that could be completely different because Leslie Frazier could be the next head coach of the Bears.
At number 28, you got the Lions taking a quarterback. It's Matt, will he just be okay Corral?
I feel like Detroit's going to take a quarterback, whether it's there or not, because they know Jared Goff's not the guy. Matt Corral needs to sit for a year. or Coral, or I've heard both.
Right.
I can't wait for the media guide to come out because there's about 10 names that I don't know how they're supposed to be said. I just know how they were said.
Mm-hmm.
Coral's one of those guys that he's athletic enough. He's got enough of an arm, but it's going to be in a specific kind of offense. And that specific kind of offense is one that has two running backs that you feature a lot. And you have a really high-level receiver like Amon St. Brown. So I think Detroit's actually – a lot of people put Malik Willis to Detroit. He ain't getting there. I know Mel did – or not Mel. Tankathon has Malik Willis at 28 with the Lions. It's not going to happen. He's going to go before that because he's going to kill the combine.
You love Wan'Dale Robinson. You got him going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, just keep giving Pat Mahomes those weapons, huh?
Well, I mean, if you're Kansas City, you hit Nick Bolton last year. You've hit L'Jarius Sneed. You've hit a couple other players. Well, now you look at the offense and go, why has the offense been so inconsistent?
Right.
Because you've got Tyreek Hill and inconsistent Mecole Hardman and Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been as good. I see Wan'Dale Robinson as their Deebo Samuel. They look at him and go, this is a guy we can run out of the backfield. This is where the league is going. Pre-snap motions, and then they become impossible to defend.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 30, Kaiir Elam.
This is a guy that Todd Bowles would not draft.
Like cornerback out of Florida.
But I also think there's a possibility that Todd Bowles won't be there. Not as big, not the deep three safety or the deep three corner that Todd Bowles looks for. This is a guy that can man up. Some inconsistent tape, some less than ideal things, but he's got a shitload of raw talent. I look at he's a long-term play for them because he's a guy that when Tom's gone, he can be your number one corner. He can man up. Even if Todd Bowles doesn't take another job this year, this is a guy that can go into the rotation, learn how to play, learn the game, and ultimately be a contributor for Tampa Bay down the line.
The Tennessee Titans, Trey McBride, tight end out of Colorado State. This guy's a big yardage eater.
Hey, you've made Anthony Ferkser a thing, and he is not very talented. Trey McBride is super talented.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine how much better Ryan Tannehill would be with a legitimate tight end. And Trey McBride, to me, I've got him in the top 30. I know a lot of people have him in the middle of the second round because it's tight end, a position that gets pushed down. But I like Trey McBride a lot. Played at a smaller school, level of competition is going to be a thing. Tight ends always get into the league slowly, but you put him behind Ferkser, he can run in some two tight end sets, and he becomes a weapon right off the jump.
And then the projected Super Bowl champion at number 32, the Green Bay Packers. This is the other Drake out of USC, Drake Jackson, the defensive end.
The beauty of there's a blessing and a curse here. The curse is that Green Bay wins the Super Bowl. Yay! Problem is that you missed all the receivers because I don't have first round. I mean, I have first round grades, but not in that offense. And that all kind of goes into Devontae Adams. You've already got Randall Cobb, who I think you will bring back. You need another outside receiver. In the 7th round mock draft, they get one of those in the 2nd round and do what they should have done when they passed on T. Higgins. Because there is another outside receiver that they will take in the 2nd round that I think pairs nicely with Devontae and Tunyon and all the slew of weapons that they have.
All right, that is your first round of the 7-round mock draft that Jeremy has put together. We will do team-by-team breakdowns of who gets who in the 7-round mock draft coming up, next week?
The goal is to get some of them recorded this week and get them put out over the weekend and into next week. But the full mock draft will be out by the end of next week.
There we go.
No matter who your team is, you will know who you took by the end of next week.
Right, and the next uncensored 3rd hour of the Sportsocracy tomorrow afternoon, we're going to talk about the top 13 cornerbacks in the upcoming draft, a la Jeremy Greene, Mr. Flostradamus. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us this afternoon here in the Sportsocracy. We will be back with you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different.